An injury list for the University of Rhode Island that goes 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 deep. Southern Connecticut coming in with minus their quarterback. That certainly hurts, but it shows you the kind of season that it's been for the Rams. And the final senior for URI appearing today, the one veteran member of the defensive secondary, Ray Williams.
Boy, he's had to take a lot of heat. A lot of teams, of course, focusing their attention, passing the ball a lot against the very inexperienced University of Rhode Island secondary, as these seniors are now coming out onto the field for their last time here at Meade Stadium. And Ray he's had a tough season. He's had to harbor a lot of the inexperience.
Who would have figured, as we show you this scene right now, I think it's most poignant, who would have figured that these seniors would have been playing their final game after such illustrious careers before this kind of crowd on this kind of an occasion, with the weather conditions being what they are. But I do know, and they touched upon it, simple fact of the matter is that in the world of sports, although they like to see the full house and play before the fans, if you're an athlete, primarily and certainly first and foremost, you're playing for yourself and your own pride and your teammates. And that, I think, is going to be what is at stake here this afternoon. I would expect certainly a great effort from the Rams, and I look for a win here today.
I have to agree with you, Mike. These guys have really put in a lot of effort all year long. You don't go to practice, even though you have a losing season, you don't just go to practice and say, oh, well, we've lost and that's it. You still practice the fundamentals. You implement the things that you're going to try to accomplish on each ensuing week. So these guys have really toiled, and they've really had to suffer a lot of pain and travesty as they've gone through this particular season. So right now they're going to look around, they're going to dig deep, they're going to give a stellar performance. And as the captains here are meeting at the center field, you're going to see that these guys, when they shake hands, this is for their pride. This is for everything that's important to them this year.
The two captains for the Owls, number 9 is Rick Atkinson, a very good defensive quarterback. He has 11 career interceptions for this year. Number 66, senior offensive guard Anthony Corvino. Owls huddling on the near side to the far side of the field. The Rams in their traditional blue and gold huddling in front of their head coach, Bob Griffin. And we are moments away from kickoff here from Meade Stadium, as we mentioned, the final home game of the season. Still 2 games yet to play on the road, and we will be, in fact, broadcasting one of the 2 of those.
Have to go back to last week's game. Boy, that would have been just a great win, Mal, against the University of New Hampshire. You've had the experience of playing up in Durham, of course, a tough place to win, and having a 24-7 lead. It's just a shame that they couldn't have come away from that game with a victory.
Well, it's just indicative of how the season's been all year. You know, they've had some big plays, they've come back, and then all of a sudden something happens to them, and they fall prey to a penalty or a touchdown that shouldn't be happening against them. But that's the way it happened. But the team did show some promise last week, and hopefully they can transcend over to this week and do a good job.
My memory goes back to 2 weeks ago today, when on this field on the opening drive against a heavily favored Richmond team, favored by 21.5, the Rams took the opening kickoff and looked as good as they had all season long, moved the ball down, eventually inside the 20-yard line, set back by a penalty, tried a field goal. It was wide, and from that point on, their fortunes obviously stalled. Hopefully the offense can get off to just as good a start this afternoon. Griffin will kick. The officials working this game this afternoon, the referee is Joe Arnone, the umpire Noel Turner, the linesman John Johnson, the line judge Bill Ward, the field judge Tom Gibbons, the back judge is Gary Dansowitz, and the clock operator is Edgar Pigeon. So there you have it, the officials working this one this afternoon. The deep backs to receive for the Owls are number 9, that is their defensive captain Rick Atkinson. To the near side of the field, you take a look at him. He will figure heavily today with the Rams' passing attack. We all know what they go after. And number 20 for Southern Connecticut on the far side of the field is Darren DeFlorio. Far side of the field at the moment, the band for the University of Rhode Island just about outnumbers the fans who have managed to fight their way through the elements here this afternoon. We are just after 1 o'clock here in Rhode Island. Rain has let up for the moment. It was a downpour all morning long, and that certainly caused, I know, all of us some difficulties just in getting to the site. There's the kick to the near side, and that's Atkinson at his 10. To the 20, the 25, looks to cut outside, and almost, if he could have gotten around the grass, of number 10, Aaron Smith, it looked like he might have had the far side of the field. Connecticut owns the football. They huddle at their own 24-yard line. They own it 1st and 10. Offensively for the Owls, you remember now, the big back is Clancy, number 41, the fullback. They run from a wing for the most part. Their offense, a wing tee. They set a receiver wide to the near side and a wing as well to the right. The pitchback is to the fullback Clancy, operating out of the tailback position on that set, and Clancy has run out on the far side of the field. We have a flag, however. John Gilman, the nose tackle, number 69, the 6'1", 281-pound freshman, the man to chase him down on the far side of the field.
You mentioned what a great job Gilman did holding against Southern Connecticut. Good break early for Rhode Island. Gilman's going to be a nice guy to build around, isn't he, for the next 3 seasons? He's a big boy.
Sure is. Rich, I got to tell you, there's a penalty against Southern Connecticut, and they have been a highly penalized team this year. They have over almost 800 yards in penalties assessed against them. And a running team tends to put them in a hole when you have to run to get that yardage. So this is a big break for University of Rhode Island. It's a 10-yard penalty, and it's something that perhaps has followed Southern Connecticut for the entire season. So let's see if things continue.
Rams now 1st and 20, as Mal accurately pointed out. They set a receiver wide to the near side. Number 19 is Greg McDaniel. They go with 2 running backs and a wing back. Quarterback rolling to the near side. Wade elects to keep it. Cuts upfield to the 23-yard line. And stop there made out of, not out of the secondary. Number 31, Ken Kurtz, the defensive end, up to make, or from behind to make the stop. Pick up on the play of about 5. We'll call it 2nd and 15.
It's a perfect illustration of the field conditions. They could be worse, but still it's pretty bad down there. Wade was running pretty smoothly, and then his feet just came out right from under him, and he fell there as Kenny Kurtz made the stop on him.
Receiver this time to the top of the screen is McDaniel. The wingback 24, Campbell, now goes into the backfield, and off to the right now in a wing position is Glenn Kimbrough. Wade to throw. Lots of yardage. Pass is short and almost picked off. The pass was shy of the intended receiver. Anthony Adams, in coverage, very nearly took it out of the hands of Greg McDaniel.
McDaniel, again, he lost his footing. It was a pretty well-thrown ball, just lost his footing there. And Adams also, it seemed to lose his footing a little bit. Had the ball right in his hands. He just couldn't hold on to the football. Would have been a big turnover.
Rich, I think we have a penalty here against the University of Rhode Island for personal foul. That's another big break. Here they had almost an interception, and now they have a personal foul against them for 15 yards.
Again, that's been the story, as the referee is also having trouble with his footing, so it's not real nice down there right now as far as the field conditions go. But again, if URI does something well, and then they don't take advantage of it, they do something poorly, it seems, right away.
Watch for a couple of strategies. Some teams like to employ a real fast opening offense on a rainy day because the conditions may get worse. Other teams realize that the conditions are not going to get too much worse, and they're going to continue to trudge it out slowly and make everything a little bit more precise.
1st and 10 from the 39. 2 in motion is Riccio. Give again to the fullback. That's 41, Bill Clancy. Clancy off the left side. Hit immediately at the line of scrimmage. Little, if anything, on that one. Jim Happy and Jeff Hogan up from his strong safety position, combining on the hit. Pickup of 1, 2nd and 9. We have 13:24 remaining in the scoreless first quarter from Meade Stadium in Kingston. Senior Appreciation Day, Southern Connecticut, a very good Division II school, coming in at 5-2, and the University of Rhode Island off to the worst start in the 86-year intercollegiate football history of the school. They are 0-8. Paul Riccio with some room to run on the corner, chased out of bounds at about midfield, and if he got to midfield, he picked up an Owl first down.
Run out of bounds by Williams.
Ray Williams running him out of bounds on the far side of the field from our vantage point, and we are directly on the 50. It looks as though he got the first down. He did.
You or I should be familiar with the wing tee offense. Delaware, of course, employs that. I don't know how many teams use this offense. It's from the old school, maybe a handful left in intercollegiate football.
It's quite archaic, but because it's so old and people don't see it that often, it's very tough to defend against.
And the ones that do, obviously, do it well. Back in motion to Riccio. Off the left side, the ball carrier, Riccio, and he gets inside Ram territory to about the 47-yard line, and the conditions, you can tell, already deteriorating as there has been heavy rain, although it is not coming down at any great pace at the moment. Those white numerals, or those blue numerals on those white shirts, quickly will be erased.
That's something we don't see often anymore in the era of artificial turf, a game in the elements. Nice to see some guys getting their jerseys dirty.
Pickup of 3, 2nd and 7. Back in motion again is Riccio. Wade to throw. Pass is incomplete. The intended receiver covered on the play by Jeff Hogan.
Hogan defending on the play.
And the intended receiver was Glenn Kimbrough, I believe. So an incompleted forward pass, and once again, the Owls in that third down conversion situation. The last time, moments ago, they had it. They failed, but the 15-yard penalty gave them the first. So it is 3rd and long for the Owls now. As we approach the 12-minute mark, the Rams yet to have their hands on the football. The opening kickoff, and this is the Owls' response. They took over 1st and 10 from their 30. They are in Ram territory at the 47, 3rd and 7. Wade to throw. Freshman signal caller. Football almost complete. It was low. Nice coverage on the play for the Rams by Ray Williams, the intended receiver, Greg McDaniel, and it looked like the pass was there. He just couldn't hold it.
It indicated that Williams was all over the receiver, intended receiver, and he made a good defensive play. There may have been a little bit of bumping, but right there was a good low pass, and I don't think the referee saw any reason to throw a flag.
Parrish Smith in the punt. He is a 6'3", 205-pound freshman, averaging 36.8 yards per punt with a long of 59. Bad kick, low. However, it takes the Big Owl bounce inside the 20 to the 17-yard line. So it will be 1st and 10 Rams from that point. 30-yard net punt. The line of scrimmage was the 47. The Rams take over at their own 17. We take a look at the Ram offense under Paul Galani for the first time today. We're back in just a minute.
Tomorrow's another day. Read all about it in the Providence Journal-Bulletin.
First down, ball carrier Doug Haynes, and he picked up 1, 2nd and 9 for the Rams. Galani, the quarterback. The single running back is Doug Haynes. Once again, the 2 wide receivers are Pratt and Donfield, as they have been for much of this season. Donfield to the bottom of your screen, Pratt to the top, Haynes to the near side, heads down, outside the 20 to about the 22-yard line.
Now, last week against New Hampshire, they featured a little more of balanced attack, which guess we've been trumpeting for the entire season, using Chris Poirier and Doug Haynes. Haynes amongst the nation leaders in all-purpose offense. So, you have talented people back there, and it was time to diversify things a little bit.
A little bit late, but it's better late than never, and I think they're going to realize that in the ensuing years they're going to have to revert to having a more multi-dimensional offense rather than just a single passing type attack.
3rd down and 2 from their own 22-yard line. The Rams, once again, up ahead. The give to Haynes. He may have gotten the first down by the length of his body. It will be very close. Glenn Major with the stop.
Young assisting on the play, 4th down for the Rams.
4th down, they're shy of the first down, so it will necessitate the punt. In comes Tom Centauri.
Campbell, deep to receive.
Centauri's punt end over end to the 35-yard line. with the football for the Owls of Southern Connecticut is Randy Campbell, one of the running backs, and Steve Schwab makes the stop, but good field position for the Owls now as they take over 1st and 10 at their own 45-yard line.
Assisting on the play. 1st and 10.
Michael, let me make a little note here. Now, there's a significant wind in the game, and you're going to see that the passing attack is going to be hindered by that effect. So URI has got to throw the ball in this quarter because they'll be throwing against the wind in the next quarter.
Dennis Wade. We give this time to the wingback from the far side to the near side, and Kimbrough is met at the line of scrimmage. No gain. 3 or 4 blue shirts up off the bottom of the pile. 58 is Damon Hewlett, and up from the secondary, Jeff Hogan. So lots of play action on that, but the result was no gain.
Well, you can credit that to Jim Happy because he turned everything inside. He shot up inside, stood his ground, faced the sideline, kept his back to the sideline, and the running back had to step inside.
2nd and 10. 9:31 in the scoreless first quarter. Southern Connecticut with the football. Wade rolls to throw. I don't know how he got out from underneath, but he did. He's at midfield. He's at the Ram 40 and finally rolled down at the 32-yard line, and 4 blue shirts had him in the backfield, and he ducked under all 4.
Now, last season, he would have been down, no question about it. He would have been sacked for a big loss. When you lose, though, it just, to use a weather analogy, it just keeps pouring on you, and how he escaped, we don't know. He did, and he picks up a real big gain there, and now Southern Connecticut rolling.
Well, you'll see he's dropping back. He's looking for a receiver, and in that play, a referee slipped and fell. Everybody converged on the quarterback. He was able to slip underneath, and he was being small, being able to get underneath, and just took off for a big gain.
Got to rush under control today because it's easy to lose your footing. 1st and 10 for the Owls in Ram territory at the 33. Right side is Clancy. Head down for 3 or 4. Phil Mulcahy, a defensive tackle, leading tackler on the team, coming in with 70 tackles. A 6'4", 270-pound senior from Worcester, Massachusetts. Pick up on the play of 4, 2nd and 6.
Mulcahy, coming off a shoulder injury last year, has done everything that he had hoped to do, and he's anchored that defense, which actually, as we've mentioned throughout the season, has played very well.
Back in motion is Riccio. Wade off play action. Looks to the near side. Appeared to have a hole. Head down and brought down there on the play by Ken Kurtz along with Paul Granatelli. Kurtz, number 31, a defensive end, and Granatelli, number 27, the free safety.
Now, Wade hasn't had a lot of success throwing the football in the games that he's played. He's only completed 42% of his passes. He's a good-looking athlete, though, Mal. He seems to run the football very well.
Seems to have a lot of savvy of what's going on the field. He drops back pretty quickly. He sees that a receiver's not open, and he elects to run the ball. He's a shifty little runner, and I think this is going to be something that URI is going to have to contend with. It's a first down and a big continuing drive.
Measurement for the first down. First and 10 for the Owls at their 24-yard line. For Southern Connecticut now, that is their 7th first down in the first quarter. 7:55 to play. Off the right side, the big barreling fullback, Clancy. And you saw why that 220-pounder has been averaging 6.3 yards per carry. He bounced off a couple of guys and moved the football to the 18-yard line.
Shooting for that magical 1,000-yard season. Came into the game with 739 yards. The guy who averages 6 yards per game, well, he may get it. With 3 games left, has a good chance to get it.
He's doing real well right here, and we'll see if he can continue.
Off to a good start today. Clancy and Riccio are the running backs. 19, McDaniel moves to the top of your screen. The defensive line shifts for the Rams. Wade to Clancy. Big hole left side on his feet. End zone. Touchdown, Southern Connecticut. Bill Clancy, a 5'10", 218-pound senior, 18 yards for his 5th rushing touchdown of the year.
Simple play off tackle where the guard just blocked out. One of the running backs stepped inside. Now Clancy stepped into someone, bounced off them, and just kept on going. Good leg drive, good power, touchdown Bill Clancy. He's well on his way. It's a good run right there.
Extra point attempt to Florio to attempt it. Atkinson to hold. The kick is up. And it is good as the teams come back up the field with 7:10 to play. First quarter, the score, Southern Connecticut 7 and the University of Rhode Island nothing.
Tired of going into debt for a night on the town? Come on out to the Queen of Clubs at Lincoln Greyhound Park. Sensational food at a price that makes going out fun again. And just wait till you see the floor show. 12 exciting races with all the action you could ever want. Lincoln Greyhound Park, the exciting alternative.
Mike Lyons with Rich DeSimone and Mal Nigerian from Meade Stadium in Kingston, Rhode Island, Senior Appreciation Day. And right now, I would think that the seniors for Southern Connecticut enjoying it for the moment. Certainly the Rams are not, as they trail by 7 with 7:10 remaining in the first quarter. Nice drive for the Owls. It began at their own 45. Good field position. A 55-yard drive. The touchdown scamper by Clancy off the left side. They lead by 7.
But more importantly, Mike, 7 minutes off the clock.
Poyer on the far side of the field to his 25. To the 30 and finally driven back. Nice stop for number 34 for Southern Connecticut. DeJola, an outside linebacker, a reserve outside linebacker, and he really put the shoulder Poyer.
A 16-yard return by Moria. First and 10 for the Rams.
Poyer credited with a 16-yard return. Pratt to the far side. Donfield to the near side. We look at Greg Farland at quarterback now as he puts it up long and deep and caught. Oh! The home run ball from Farland, number 11. Right on the money to Jimmy Pratt, who outraced the secondary. He is the speedster. Just beyond his grasp, he made a great lunge to get to the ball, but lost it as a result of the impact. Take a look.
I'm a little surprised to see Farrell in there. Griffin said he was going to go with 2 quarterbacks. Here he is throwing the ball, airs it out. A real picture-perfect pass. Pratt, with the exceptional speed, is able to hold on to the ball. In the NFL, that's a completion and a fumble. In the collegiate levels, incomplete pass. Tough break for the University of Rhode Island.
2nd and 10, football at their own 29-yard line. Farland is the quarterback, and once again, Pratt remains in despite that long run, along with Donfield. Farland high, knocked away. Nice effort there. The intended receiver was Poyer, and batting it away for Southern Connecticut was Mike Young, who dropped back from his outside linebacker position, had coverage on the play.
Now, last week against New Hampshire, late in the game, Greg was warming up on the sidelines, and it looked like Bob Griffin was going to bring him in. Unfortunately, Paul Galani threw an interception, and Farland never had a chance to get in the game. This was late in the contest when New Hampshire ended up winning the game, of course, 28-24.
Third and 10. The screen pass on the far side to Poyer with room to run. Close to the 35, not near enough for the first down as the line of scrimmage was the 29. He may have gotten 6. It will be a 4th and 4, and the Rams once again will be faced with a punt. Bob Griffin under wraps on the far side of the field as the rain, as I said, has let up. It still comes down, but it is not coming down in any great intensity. Centauri to punt, deep to receive for Southern Connecticut. Randy Campbell standing at his own 25-yard line. Centauri will kick from just outside his 20, the line of scrimmage, the 34. Loose football, still loose. The Rams have it. University of Rhode Island catches a break on the football for URI. Mark Buckley, number 35, a reserve defensive end, and he is elated That's one of the first times all year we have seen a break go, and a big grin on the face of Mal Nigerian.
You saw him jumping up and down. He couldn't even catch his balance after, but he did recover that fumble. There it is. The receiver dropped the ball. It's very difficult in the rain. The ball's getting away. He didn't fall on it immediately. He tried to catch it and tuck underneath it. And number 80,
Mark Buckley picked
Mark
it up.
Buckley was able to come up with the ball. Number 35, defensive end. The number threw me off for a defensive end.
Now we've got Galani in, under pressure. On his feet with room to run. At the 5-yard line, goes over a player and is really racked up. Loose football, and they say that the player was down. He lost it as he was hit. And the official, the referee, quickly up to make the call. Joe Arnone says, no, it is Ram ball. We talked earlier in the year about the fact that the Ram quarterbacks, in situations where they had room to run, elected to hold and stay back, particularly Farland. That time, the wise decision, he tucked it under his arm and took off and picked up a Ram first down. In fact, it is now goal to go at the 2.
Well, Galani's done that from the first time we saw him against Brown. He took the ball and ran. When he found there was nothing to do, he took it upon himself, and he did get some substantial yardage. That was a great play right there.
Galani to the near sideline, in the air, and a touchdown for the Rams. For the Rams, it's number 41, Jimmy Muse, a 6'3", 203-pound junior. His second touchdown reception of the season on a 2-yard scoring strike from the freshman quarterback, Paul Galani. And so we hear, for one of the 2 rare occasions this season, the Ram fight song on the far side of the field.
Galani simply just takes a semi-roll and throws it out to Jimmy Muse in the end zone. Very easy play. That's what they usually did early on in the game, just a short out pattern. And with Galani's running capabilities, he held the defense at bay and enabled them to throw the touchdown pass.
With 5:19 to play in the first quarter of play, the kick by Griffin is good. And as the teams come back up the field, we are all even. It is Rhode Island 7 and Southern Connecticut 7. Back in a minute.
Murder Fallon. Murder.
That would have been quite a play, though.
Huh?
Watch closely. You're looking at America's 2 leading premium beers. Because Miller High Life comes in a clear bottle, you probably think it's the lighter of the 2. But life is full of surprises. You see, Miller High Life is brewed darker from this special and expensive roasted malt. Pour them for yourself. See the difference roasted malt can make. Then compare the taste, and you just might find out what a beer made the American way is all about. Miller High Life.
This portion of today's game is brought to you in part by Miller High Life, made the American way. At Kingston, Meade Stadium, Mike Lyons with Rich DeSimone and Mal Nigerian, deadlocked at 7 with 5 minutes and 19 seconds to play first quarter. Griffin to kick.
A little bit difference in attack. 7 minutes for Southern Connecticut and 2 minutes and change for the University of Rhode Island.
Well, in this game, obviously, in the turnover situation, the Rams now working with a +1. That has not been the case for most of the season. On the far side, that's Atkinson, retreats to his 10. Out of bounds at the 22-yard line, defending for the Rams and knocking him out of bounds. Number 39, Kurt Brockwell, a reserve linebacker.
And number 35 again, Mr. Young.
23 is first and 10.
Buckley, excuse me.
23. A 13-yard return by Atkinson.
First and 10 from their 23-yard line. To the near side is McDaniel. Slotted is Riccio. The lone running back, 41, is Clancy. The give to the wingback coming around 24 is Campbell. Campbell may get a yard or 2 at best. 3-4 white shirts at the bottom of the pile. Jim Happy along with Kenny Kurtz, number 31. Happy, number 38. Hogan up from the secondary. They all got a piece of the ball carrier. A pickup on the play of 2, 2nd and 8. Hardcore fans, you'd have to be out on a day like today. The elements, of course, not the best. It has stopped raining. It has been a virtual deluge for most of the morning. Off the right side to the 30-yard line. The ball carrier was Clancy, and once again, Off the bottom of the pile, we take a look at Bill Brown, a defensive end, 38, Damon Hewlett, a linebacker, and 73, Jim Landry, a defensive tackle. So this is a rushing attack for the Owls, and much of the work defensively, if the Rams are going to have some success defensively, has to be done by the interior line for them today. Gilman is the nose tackle. Landry and Mulcahy are the defensive tackles, and Kurtz and Brown the defensive ends.
Just saw some of those hardcore fans.
Clancy off the left side, and he just burrows behind the offensive line. He does not, in several occasions here today, look to run over the defense. He is going right behind the blocks of his offensive linemen. That time for short yardage, he will be, it looks like, shy of the first down, not by much. And it will be a punting situation, and up with a very clean 86 on the back of his road uniform is Parrish Smith. As I mentioned, he's averaged 37 yards per punt this season with a long of 59.
Sirignano, of course, is their number one punter, also their number one quarterback, so they lost a pretty valuable man.
Broken collarbone, and as a result, Wade with his third start, just a freshman. There's the kick. Pretty good rush by the Rams. Fair catch called for by number 21, Poyer. The Rams will take over pretty good field position for URI at their own 38.
A smart play by Chris. You really don't want to take a chance on what happened, of course, to Southern Connecticut, dropping the football there. Very slick out there. Play it safe, and they have, as you mentioned, Mike, very good field position. With, just about 3 minutes to go here in this first quarter, and we're deadlocked at 7. Rhode Island, believe it or not, did take advantage of a turnover to tie this game up, something they haven't done all season.
Galani with the 2-yard touchdown toss to Jim Muse, and back at quarterback, they appear to be alternating on series now, Greg Farland. Farland off the short drop. Once again, the throw down the sideline. Picked off by Atkinson. Still on his feet at the 45 and the 47-yard line before he is down. Farland looking for that home run toss down the sideline. It's picked off by Atkinson. He is their defensive captain. Came in with 11 career interceptions, 4 this season. That's his 5th. Nice effort.
Well, they have, 19 interceptions as a team. Atkinson second on the team to Matt Morrow with 4. Again, now going for that long toss.
Farland seems to like to go to the well a little bit too often, goes for the home run ball. I think this is what Griffin wants him to do, try to air it out. Hopes that a defensive back will fall down. In this case, he didn't. Comes up with the interception. Another bad break for the University of Rhode Island.
Still on his feet. That's, I believe, 24, Randy Campbell, not Riccio number 2. Campbell, the ball carrier, inside the 45 to the 42-yard line. Big pickup on the play. No, it was 2 now. Right. It looks like coming back. As you can see.
Hard to tell with that jersey getting darker and darker.
Well, it's pretty clear on the screen, but of course, from looking up in the broadcast booth, we refer to the monitors during the replay situations. Perhaps I had to follow him during the play. That time I preferred to look at the field, and it cost me. They're going to measure as he got very nearly a first down attempt. Just about got 10.
Mike. We forgive you. That's why we're here. To take care of your mistakes. Few that they are.
Like a drum, for instance.
Scores of other games. Delaware 7, Connecticut nothing in the first period.
Delaware 7, Connecticut nothing in the first quarter.
Maine nothing. Second period. Virginia Tech 10, Richmond 7. First and 10 for the Owls.
Sweeping around is Kimbrough, still on his feet inside the 40 to the 37-yard line, wrapped up by Jim Happy.
The tackle by number 38.
Nice pickup on the play. The ground game for the Owls picking up.
Mike, I got to tell you something. You know, I was overhearing some of the scores. We made a statement that we were going to be interested to watch Richmond against Georgia when they were playing the University of Georgia. Well, they did pretty well against them. I think they lost 24-17 in front of a homecoming crowd at University of Georgia. So Richmond was a very good team, and I just want to bring that to your attention because you said you wanted to monitor it.
That's for those who doubt the quality of football at the 1AA level.
Absolutely, and I couldn't be a bigger advocate of the quality that's played in 1AA football. There are some great athletes that come out of the league. It's a very competitive league, and it's finally beginning to get some of the recognition that it duly deserves.
Have an illegal procedure penalty against Southern Connecticut.
Rams at this point can use the help as they walk off 5 yards. Once again, the referee today is Joe Arnone. He places the football back. He's going to walk it back, it looks like, to the 42-yard line, where it will be 2nd and 10. Ball is set for play now. To the top of your screen, Greg McDaniel. Slotted up top is Kimbrough. 2 running backs behind Wade. 5'10", 180-pound freshman out of Middletown, Connecticut. Pass is batted down. Nice play defensively there by the big defensive tackle, Phil Mulcahy. So it will be for them now a 3rd and 10. Nice play by Mulcahy.
Great strong play. Came right in unimpeded upon the quarterback. Wade threw the ball, almost caught it himself, and then Mulcahy threw him down pretty haphazardly, and he got upset.
5-yard walk-off significant because prior to that they were in that rushing situation where they could have given it to Clancy and get that 5 yards in the first. But now they're, as a result, put in the passing situation. The batted down effort there by Mulcahy. They are faced now with a 3rd and 10 from the 42. Wade with time. Nice work defensively by Anthony Adams in coverage of the intended receiver on the play. The intended receiver, I believe, was the tight end, Tessetta.
Smith in punt formation.
Smith will punt. Line of scrimmage is his 42. Wade in the ball game, 0 for 5 in the passing department.
But his scrambling was a very key play in this early juncture of this game.
There's the punt on the far side. The fair catch called for nicely there by Poirier, who shows lots of poise and confidence. Those are difficult balls. It was a low ball and spinning end over end. Difficult to handle. He did in fine fashion. Rams will have it 1st and 10 from their 18 back in a minute.
This is Jeep's all-new 4-liter 6-cylinder engine. It has sequential multi-point electronic fuel injection. It puts out 173 horsepower and 220 foot-pounds of torque. But most important, if you put this new engine in a Jeep Cherokee or Jeep Comanche, you're going to see more speed and power than you've ever seen from vehicles like this. Just remember where you saw it first.
The Renault Jeep Report at your Rhode Island AMC Jeep Renault dealers.
First down rush for the Rams by running back Doug Haynes. He picked up 1, 2nd and 9. Once again, the quarterbacks appear to be alternating by series, and at this point, it is number 14, the freshman, Paul Gilani. He has Haynes behind him, 2 receivers, the wide receivers, actually 4, the 2 tight ends, Muse and Schwab, but the wideouts, Pratt and Donfield. 39 seconds remaining first quarter, deadlocked at 7. Gilani, the strike. Schwab outside the 30 to the 33-yard line for a Ram first down.
Nice, slow, deliberate play there by Gilani. Took 3 quick steps and then made sure he fired the ball with pinpoint accuracy to the tight end, Schwab, and he came up with a first down.
26 seconds. Clock is moving, remaining in the first quarter. Rams on the first football, picking up their 6th first down of the contest. Donfield to the bottom of the screen, Pratt to the top. Gilani is the quarterback. The draw, and they were screaming it directly beneath us on the bench. That one they smelled out in a hurry. No gain, in fact, a loss on the play. And that should do it as the scoreboard clock shows nothing but zeros. We have completed 1 quarter of play here at Meade Stadium in Kingston, Rhode Island. It's been a good football game to this point. The Rams definitely in it. Deadlocked at 7. Back with second quarter action in just a minute.
Hi, I'm Moses Tutupu of the New England Patriots. If you're thinking of buying or renting an RV, see what Courtesy RV has to offer.
You picked a winner with Courtesy, ranked as a leader in southeastern New England for selection. Courtesy also offers full-service Rhode Island vehicle inspection, the right replacement parts, and a full line of accessories. Best of all, they treat customers the way their name implies.
Now that's Courtesy.
Loss of 4 on that first down draw. It is 2nd now and 14 for the Rams. The football is in their own territory at the 29-yard line. Far side of the field, as you can see, Ram supporters, and they are few quite candidly here today. The rain picking up. Yep. The rain gear is out. Galani once again, the quarterback. Owls with 6 men on the line of scrimmage, and they put the pressure on. Galani, head down, avoids what was definitely a blitz, moves out past the 30 to the 33-yard line. He got back the 4 that he lost, maybe perhaps +1, so it will be a 3rd and 9. So an obvious passing situation, 2nd and 14. The Owls defensively elected to go with the blitz, and the good pressure forced Galani to put his head down and move up inside.
Good bit of instinctive football by Galani. Sensed the pressure by number 99, Scott Mercereau, putting an enormous amount of pressure on him. Just stepped right up in the pocket and took off. Good play by Paul Galani.
Third and 9. Pass is complete to Donfield, not to the first down marker. Caught it at the 41, was driven back to the 40. He needed to get almost to the 43. Matt McLeese, the inside linebacker, with coverage on Donfield, up close, but not, I don't think, quite to the first down marker.
Given an awful gracious spot by the referee. I'll tell you, we seem to be pretty big advocates of Paul Galani. Perhaps he should run for political office in his later years, huh?
Speaking on behalf of Mr. Farland, though, he deserved a better fate as a result of that first throw of his, which was a beauty. Galani 4 of 7 now for 30 yards. The Ram punt to the 31-yard line. The line of scrimmage for the Rams was their own 33, so a 36-yard punt on the play, no return. The Owls will take over with 13:24 remaining in the first half.
The players are still pretty much 100% behind Greg Farland and really don't blame him for any of the problems. Again, as I mentioned in my piece during the pregame show, they won as a team the past 2 seasons, and now they're losing as a team, and it's good that they're not pointing fingers. Oftentimes that happens when you're losing.
But there's no reason to, because he's a good athlete, and he'll come into his own either this year or even into next year.
Clancy, the 218-pound, 5'10" senior out of Mastic Beach, New York, off the left side and picks up that big chunk of 5, coming in with 732 yards on the ground, averaging better than 6 yards per attempt, 5 touchdowns, had 4 coming in, and added an 18-yard touchdown scamper in the first quarter today. That's their score. Galani to Jimmy Muse for the Rams score, and we're deadlocked at 7. Pickup of 5, 2nd and 5. Back in motion is Kimbrough. Wade to the near sideline. Pass is complete. That's Kimbrough. Paul Granatelli, the free safety, runs him out of bounds on the far side at the 44-yard line. It will be an Owl first down for them in the contest. That is their 11th, I believe.
Teams have come into games against Rhode Island, of course, focusing on the secondary. Just too many injuries in that secondary. You can look at John Carbone, Guy's brother, a kid who switched positions and moved into the secondary, got hurt, and they've just had too many injuries back there.
Ball carrier Kimbrough, you could see he was having trouble with his footing as he tried to cut back up against the flow of the play. Got perhaps 2 yards, if that. Hewlett with an assist on the play, along with Phil Mulcahy combining on the defensive stop for the Rams. Paul Riccio. All kinds of movement in there. You would think there was some confusion, but that's just to throw off the defense. Pass was just behind the intended receiver, Kimbrough, and coming up to put a nice shot on him was Jeff Hogan. He drove the ball free at midfield. It would have been a short pickup to midfield, the incompleted forward pass. And the Owls are faced with a 3rd down conversion, 3rd and 8 in their own territory. Football at the 46. They are 0 for 4 in 3rd down conversions to this point. Wade.
Looked like a broken play.
It was either a broken play or a designed one. It looked like perhaps maybe a quarterback draw. If not, it certainly, in either case, stopped stone cold.
He looked like he was a little bit confused. Wanted to hand the ball off, reacted funny, and bagged it in there.
Was that Gilman again who nailed him immediately? I believe it was.
I think it was Mulcahy, number 87. That's why I saw it come off the pile. Nice punt.
Smith with a punt, and he sends Pratt retreating to his 15-yard line. Out of bounds at the 28-yard line. An excellent punt. 40 yards from the line of scrimmage, and actually better than 50 from where he kicked it. He had the wind definitely at his back, as the wind is definitely blowing in the face of the Rams at the moment. It will be 1st down and 10 for the Rams, and they own the football now at their own 29-yard line with 11:06 remaining in the first quarter.
Tomorrow's another day. Read all about it in the Providence Journal Bulletin.
First down play for the Rams, off the left side. Little, if anything, gained on that one. The ball carrier for the Rams, number 21, is Poyer. Host of white shirts involved defensively for the Owls. Credit the nose tackle, Mark Buckley, with the stop.
One good thing, looking to next season for Rhode Island Mal, familiar with backs, of course, they're going to have a couple of good ones in Haynes and Poirier. Had a lot of learning.
They've had a lot of learning experience this year and part of last year, so they will have a good ground attack if Griffin decides to implement a ground attack.
Greg Farland, the quarterback, 2nd and 10 off a long count. The short drop and the pass behind the intended receiver. The receiver for the Rams on the play was number 92, Brian Mitchell, the 6'5" ex-round ball player.
The point Phil Mulcahy brought up about Greg Farland. He said a lot of receivers in the hands and the chest this season. They've dropped the football.
That went a bit low. It would have been difficult, particularly with the elements being what they are. The ball has to be wet. And certainly that's got to pose some problems for the receivers as well as the quarterback. 3rd and 10 football at the 29. 10:15 remaining in the half. Deadlocked at 7, Southern Connecticut and Rhode Island. Farland puts it up. He's got a man. That's Pratt, near sideline. Owl territory at the 47-yard line. Jimmy Pratt with the reception. Run out of bounds for Southern Connecticut by number 48, Morrison.
Pat Morrison.
Farland continuing to look for receivers. Initially he was looking for number 92, Mitchell, but yet he throws up to Pratt. Nice catch off along the sidelines, facing the receiver, and he just drove out of bounds.
And a nice view on the play as well. We should credit the Rollins Sports production crew assembled for this one. Hopefully we'll get a shot of our end zone camera and cameraman who has to brave the elements. He is outside for the duration of this one today. A crew of about 18 assembled here in Kingston this afternoon, and these are not the best conditions to work under, and bring you the kind of pictures you just had. There you go. Take a look.
Well, he's certainly going to have some hot soup and coffee waiting when he's at home. But we had a penalty there, unfortunately, against URI. We would miss talking about our wonderful camera crews here. And that big play that we just had a repeat of has been nullified, and now URI is deep in the hole. It's 3rd and 13.
Don Lewis, about 30 feet high on the 10-meter board. Single running back is Poyer. An obvious passing situation. It appears as though the Owls are going to elect a drop back, and they do. Lots of time. Football is high, long, deep, and it is caught. Bobby Donfield, it looked from my vantage point as though it may have been picked off. It was not. It was caught by Donfield, over getting a word of praise from his coach.
Save that for the highlight film.
Incredible catch. Great concentration there by Donfield. But the funniest thing about that play is Farland dropped back and reverse spun, and number 68 rubbed shoulders with him and turned away from him. And Farland just threw it up in the air, and it was a great completion.
Excuse me.
Go right ahead.
Matt Morrow was the defensive back who went over the back of Donfield and very nearly picked it off.
Heck of a play fake.
Third down conversion, second of 5 for the Rams. Farland, nice action as he looked to the near side, went back to the far side, and once again hit downfield in the numerals, defending on the play. 85, the outside linebacker, Mike Young. The completion good for about 6. We'll call it 2nd and 4. Football in the Owl portion of the football field now, in a 7-7 football game, and the rain has definitely picked up.
I don't know if we still have that play. Maybe a bit later we can take a look at that. Again, that was one of the strangest things you want to see ever, boy.
2nd and 4. Poyer is the running back. Downfield remains into the top of your screen. To the bottom, that's Pratt. Off play action once again. Farland. Receivers are covered, and he elects to try and move it upfield. Lost perhaps a yard or so on the play, but it was a wise choice if, in fact, the receivers were covered, and it appeared that they were. Dave Johnson, the man to put Farland down. Farland doing a nice job of throwing the ball when you consider the rain. We'll be back in just a minute. Third and 7. Farland drops the throw. Big pressure. Sets up the screen. That's Poyer with a man to beat. Cuts inside the 40. He's got the first down. Still on his feet at the 25-yard line. An excellent individual effort by Chris Poyer and by Farland, who evaded the rush. Got the screen pass off to Poyer, and what a nifty job of moving it upfield.
Exactly. Farland had a tremendous amount of pressure, inundated, and a great individual effort by Chris Poyer cutting back up the field. Big play there. Surprisingly, too, with the way the footing is out there, he was able to execute those very nifty moves.
Superb running. He just kept his feet going, kept his balance. Sure, a couple of times he put his hand down to regain his balance. Excellent tiptoeing along the sideline.
Farland is 6 of 10 now for 61 yards. The Rams with a 1st and 10. The football at the Owl 25, 7-7 score, 8 minutes remaining in the half. Off the left side, Poyer, an ankle tackle on the play. Up off the bottom of the pile, 56, Bob Gibson, a 6'1", 220-pound sophomore linebacker from Bloomfield, Connecticut.
Rain beginning to pick up a little bit now. The wind also seems to be a little bit gustier. All right, let's see now. There it is, Mal.
Galani just throws a nice, soft, lofty ball up to Poirier, and a defender almost gets inside, but you'll see Poirier dodging and darting, driving from left to right, and he's just doing a heck of a job. And now we're back to live action.
Farland to throw. Football in the air. Touchdown, Rhode Island. The touchdown pass to Brian Mitchell as the defender slipped in coverage on the play, and the home run ball the result, and the Rams own the lead here at Kingston, 13-7.
Brian Mitchell, being a senior, his first year of playing football, did not have a touchdown coming into this game. Gets his first one. Nice.
Real nice play, real sharp. The first touchdown that he did catch was against, that was a 23-yard reception right there. The first touchdown he did catch was by Galani, and it was called back on Galani's first pass 2 weeks ago. Here it is. Farland just lays it up and gets leveled after he throws the ball. It gets right into Mitchell's hands. The defender got beat. Excellent play. And now we go for the extra point. And it was wide as the referee again slips and falls.
The extra point attempt is no good as we take a look at Brian Mitchell on the far side of the field, a very elated young man, a senior with the touchdown reception. And as the teams come back up the field with 7:14 remaining in the half, the Rams lead the University of Rhode Island 13-7.
Hey.
3 customer calls.
Check it.
I'm actually starting to like this stuff.
Just the two of us. We can make it if we try. Just the two of us.
You're right on schedule.
Just the two of us.
Let's go over there.
Candles in the sky. Just the two of us. You and I.
You need a ride?
You and citizens, every step of the way.
Welcome back to Meade Stadium in Kingston. The elements, the conditions certainly are deteriorating, but the news is good. The Rams coming back from a 7-0 deficit on a pair of touchdown throws from both of their quarterbacks, Galani with one, and now as a result of the touchdown throw for the Rams from Farland to Brian Mitchell, they own the lead 13-7.
That extra point may loom awful important later in the game.
Kick is short and fallen on by a couple of white shirts at the 33-yard line. The Owls will take over from that point. We have 7:14 remaining in the half, and this is about what it was like for most of the morning in Kingston. It certainly appeared like it was going to get better for the first quarter, but it has deteriorated in the last couple of minutes.
Well, they predicted scattered showers today. And of course, weathermen, they don't know too much anyway, so.
Almost like commentators.
Hey. Present company excluded, of course.
Of course.
Wade, the quarterback. On the near side, the ball carrier is Riccio, and he is drilled, coming up hard to put him down. Number 1 is Ray Williams, and number 4, the free safety, 27 rather, Paul Granatelli.
Yeah, it's been surprising. URI has been very effective throwing the football. The receivers have had no trouble with the elements. They've run their patterns very well.
Same with this run. Like I said, the field has been in such great condition that one rainstorm is not going to really hamper a field. After this game, you know, pay credit to the ground crew.
We're going to have a lot of work to do. Back in motion is Riccio, 2nd and 1, pickup of 9. First down easily for Clancy, out past the 45-yard line. Anthony Adams defending for the University of Rhode Island.
The tackle by Gilman and Adams.
Gilman gets credit for a tackle as well, the nose tackle, number 69. A first down for the Owls. They own the football at their own 47-yard line. They trail by 6. 6:23 remaining in the half. Thirteen first downs for Southern Connecticut. Off the right side, that's Kimbrough. Still on his feet. Finally drilled from behind at the 35-yard line by Damon Hewlett. And those tackles better be very sure-handed at this point, because I'm sure that when you go to reach out, as wet as these guys are, it's like they have a coat of oil on them. And you saw the ball carrier in that instance bounce off 3 or 4 tackles.
Simple handoff from Wade to number 23, Kimbrough. He steps inside, keeps his balance, and he just sheds tackles as he keeps his feet. Now, as you get more and more slippery, you'll find that yourself being able to elude tackles. Your hands get cold, and you're unable to wrap your arms and make an effective tackle.
Football at the Ram 37-yard line. Kimbrough, 50 yards now on 7 rushing attempts.
And he came into the game with 608.
Head down, the big fullback Clancy, close to the 30-yard line, and that's another pickup of about 7 on the play.
He's going to be well on his way to a 100-yard day, and eclipsing that 1,000 yards is going to come ever so close.
Owls are doing a fine job of running inside. Normally, that's what you want. You want to force the team that rushes to go inside where you have the support, the linebackers in the secondary, but they've been able to do it and pick up huge pieces of real estate. Credit him with a pickup of 6, 2nd and 4, 5:16 on the clock. Owls trail by 6. Football loose, but it appeared that Clancy was able to hold on. Ball carrier brought down by Phil Mulcahy, number 87, as he assists the ball carrier in getting back to his feet. Jim Happy with an assist on the play. As I get some assists from Rich DeSimone up in the broadcast booth. Difficult to read these numbers, particularly the blue numerals on the white shirts of the Owls of Southern Connecticut. This is the 5th third down conversion opportunity for the Owls. They have yet to convert. This is a 3rd and 2. Head down. Nice effort by Clancy. He got away from the hit in the backfield. Jim Landry had him behind the line of scrimmage, could not hold him. As a result, Clancy gets the first down. The first 3rd down conversion for the Owls this afternoon. The football now at the Ram 30.
Nice, easy opening by Clancy. Just slides off tackle. Eludes the tackle by Happy and continues running over someone and picks up a good first down. A good, tough, low-to-the-ground running back.
First and 10. Ball carrier is Kimbrough. Driven back by a couple of blue shirts. Jimmy Happy, number 38.
Now we can see up here, Mike, a little something that you may find interesting. Wade is giving the ball off to the running backs in one way, and he's reversing in the other direction, and there's no one there to mind the shop. Now watch for a little bit later. They may use something, and it may burn.
Quarterback bootleg. Kimbrough in motion. Wade to the near sideline. Good pursuit. That's the big nose tackle, Gilman, who moves well for a big guy, and he got over there to put him down, and if they got anything, they got a yard. It will be, once again, another 3rd and long for the Owls.
Credit Chris Santapietro for also doing a nice job on that play. Did not let the runner get outside, turned him inside, and that allowed the hit to be made. So good play by Chris Santapietro. Again, the rain picking up a little bit.
Scoreboard clock shows 3 minutes, 8 seconds remaining in the first half. The Rams lead it 13-7. They trailed by 7 and came back with a couple of scoring strikes. Wade signals the receiver to go deep. The pass looked like it was going to be hauled down. Joe Tessetta, the tight end, almost was able to pull that one in. Covering on the play was Granatelli. Nice throw by the quarterback.
He just lofts it up there, and the hand passes over Happy's hand, and Ray Williams is able to make the defensive recovery, but the ball could have been caught. Nonetheless, it's an incomplete pass and puts them again 4th down.
That was Williams, number 1, not Granatelli. So it will be now, it looks like a field goal try here for Southern Connecticut. And in to kick will be DeFlorio, their place kicker. The kick will come from
student body right.
The 35-yard line. DeFlorio coming in 6 of 8, and that one's got plenty of leg. Great kick.
Mighty impressive kick.
No problem, no hesitation, just kick it right through, just like it was a dry southern day in Florida. We don't have that here.
That was a 45-yard field goal attempt under what was less than ideal conditions. So as the teams come back up the field with 2:49 remaining in the half, the score is now Rhode Island 13 and Southern Connecticut 10.
Tomorrow's another day. Read all about it in the Providence Journal Bulletin.
Man in your screen, number 20 for Southern Connecticut. That's Darren DeFlorio. And did he put the shoe to that one? 13-10 the score. A downpour. Bringing the ball back upfield for the University of Rhode Island is Doug Haynes. Haynes gets it out to the 27-yard line.
Haynes first and 10 for the Rams from the 27.
Galani, the quarterback. Rams lead it by 3. And we have 2:44 remaining in the first half. Haynes, head down, outside the 30 to the 35-yard line. Great run.
As he squeegees some of the turf dry.
Finally run down by Mark Buckley, number 91, with an assist to Bob Gibson, the linebacker, number 56. Credit him with a pickup of 8, 2nd and 2.
Interesting, 2 Mark Buckleys. One plays for URI, one plays for Southern Connecticut. I guess it wasn't that interesting.
Also an interesting note, I didn't realize that Bob Griffin was a graduate of Southern Connecticut.
1963. Pratt to the bottom of the screen, Donfield to the top, Galani to throw. He's got Muse at the 40. Hard to believe they can throw the football because I'll tell you what, it is a downpour at this moment. 40-yard line, first down for the Rams. They own it now in their own territory with 1:56 remaining in the half as they look to add points to their total of 13. They lead by 3.
Thrown it as well as they have all season, believe it or not.
You know, one of the things is, if you ever played basketball outside in the rain, you'll find that the ball is a little bit smaller because the cold air shrinks the ball, and it has a little more tacky feel to it, and you're able to catch it, hold on to the ball because it's a little bit smaller.
Wow.
So they're playing with the small ball today.
Something you didn't know, huh?
On the far side of the field, Doug Haynes, he didn't get much. 2 or 3 white shirts run him down. 81 up off the bottom of the pile for Southern Connecticut. Mike Roberts. Galani now 9 of 13 for 119 yards.
I don't know if that theory's true or not, but boy, it sounds good, doesn't it?
Well, it's pretty true. If you ever played basketball outside, you find that the ball, you can handle and grip the ball a lot more effectively.
I'm going to go home and try that after we get done here.
Today'd be a good day.
But you got small hands, so I don't know if you can hold on to it.
Rams own it 2nd and 10. The football in their own territory at the 40-yard line. Galani, the young freshman, alternating at quarterback here today with Farland. The pass is tipped. Nowhere near the intended receiver on the play for the Rams. Number 81, Steve Schwab, the tight end.
The flag down, Mike, may have been a late hit.
No one wants to pick. Everybody picked up the flag and threw it away.
Yeah, roughing the passer.
Joe Stafford directing this one this afternoon with our Rollins Sports production team, and certainly being tested here today because, as we mentioned, it has been a horrible morning. It cleared up prior to the game through much of the first quarter. It has deteriorated badly through the second quarter, and it appears that the rest of the day is not going to get much better. The forecast does not look bright. However, it does certainly for the Rams, who are trying to change what has been a very sad fortune for them this season. They have lost all 8 of their contests. Only one team in the school's history lost 8 games, and that was a team that only played, I believe, 8 that year. They finished at 0-8. Rams with 3 remaining on their schedule, 2 yet to come in the Yankee Conference. Or 1 in the conference, I'm sorry, Connecticut, and then Northeastern. Farland, over the middle. The pass is short. The intended receiver for the Rams was Brian Mitchell. And the defender on the play getting up.
It's too bad. That would have been a sure reception if he didn't lose his footing.
Matt Morrow was right there, too, and it could have gone either way.
Morrow comes off the field. He must have twisted
15-yard walk-off on the previous play has given the Rams excellent field position. The football in Southern Connecticut territory at the 45-yard line. Pratt to the bottom of the screen, Don Field to the top. Single running back, number 25 is Haynes. Farland rolls to the near sideline and is racked up at the 45-yard line. As we look downfield, though, the receivers, Mitchell, Pratt, and Muse were all covered, so he did the wise thing.
That was a great play by Dave Johnson, number 15, neutralized by the URI offensive lineman, and he just kind of swooped him with one arm and brought him down.
It was almost as though Farland stepped right into it. I don't think he expected him to be there. He just turned into him, and number 15 was able to put the hit on him for a loss.
First quarter, Army 7, Air Force nothing. And in the first quarter, Towson State 21, New Haven nothing.
Towson State leads New Haven 21-0. New Haven, a good football club at the Division II level, beat this Southern Connecticut team, and I was curious to see how Towson would do because, of course, they really put it to the Rams. We're back with more in just a minute.
Tired of going into debt for a night on the town? Come on out to the Queen of Clubs at Lincoln Greyhound Park. Sensational food at a price that makes going out fun again. And just wait till you see the floor show. 12 exciting races with all the action you could ever want. Lincoln Greyhound Park, the exciting alternative.
Appreciate it.
Greg Farland, 3rd and 11 with time. Has a receiver. Nice move as Haynes cuts inside. That cut got the Rams the first down inside the 35-yard line. That's where they needed to get to pick up the first down. Another great move by Haynes.
And more importantly, Mike, use his God-given talents and his intelligence to get out of bounds, giving them a little more time. Only 11 seconds remaining.
And how about this statistic? The Rams in the first half, 4 of 6 in third down conversions.
That's impressive. That's impressive.
First and 10 for the Rams. Football at the 32-yard line. However, we have moved to the 11-second mark of the half, so the Rams quickly running out of time here. Farland. Overthrown and out of bounds. They look to set up the screen. Good coverage by the Owls. Rushing just 3 and leaving 8 back in deep coverage.
Now, that's something that surprised me, because you got to play like that. You've got someone with Farland's capabilities of airing it out. There are only 8 seconds. You're not going to go for a field goal against the wind, I would surmise. And they like to go for a screen pass. That's going to take time to execute and also time to run if you catch the ball. Pretty interesting.
Well, if he would have caught it, he would have had to get into the end zone on the play, because the clock certainly would have expired. We have 6 seconds remaining. Very likely the last play of the half. The Rams own it 2nd and 10 at the Owl 32. Pass is complete to Muse at the 5-yard line. However, that's it. The clock has run out, so that throw from Farland to Muse, good, but not good enough. We've completed 2 quarters of play here at Kingston, Rhode Island, Meade Stadium. Mike Lyons with Rich DeSimone and Mal Najeri in this Rollins sports production of University of Rhode Island football. At halftime, it's Rhode Island 13 and Southern Connecticut 10.
I wonder what it's like to go to school in Rhode Island.
At the university? Do you have a minute?
Actually, it has almost like what you might call moving skin.
The vegetation line is, in essence, a line that you roughly can draw at the base of the dune. And
I think it's a friendly campus. It's easy to meet people.
I think it's a great school. It's a contract of adhesion. You remember that from 333.
I'm enjoying the classes. I'm being challenged.
I do a lot of research, but that's something I do on my own. When I teach, I share.
And what we do in here is study the interaction of light with matter.
7 pixels high, and then you got the next font is 15.
Have the kickoff, and let's see what Ronnie will do.
I got you check her reflexes before she gets too upset. There she goes.
The Soviet news agency TASS announced today.
Okay, here we go. We're rolling. We're moving it down the line here.
The University of Rhode Island. Our home is the Ocean State, a home with 400 miles of shoreline, enjoyable from any number of perspectives. The main campus in Kingston, picturesque as any New England postcard, is minutes away from the beaches, a half-hour's drive from Newport. By air, or rail, or bus, URI's home state is not really far from almost anyone else's. The University of Rhode Island. We'd like you to know more about it.
Does Miller High Life come in a clear bottle just to stand out from the crowd? Or is there more to it than that? You see, Miller High Life is brewed dark and rich from this special and expensive roasted malt. How dark and rich? Compare Miller to the other leading premium and see the difference for yourself. When you brew a beer with all the quality and care that goes into Miller High Life, you put it in a clear bottle for the world to see. Because that's the American way.
Well, welcome back to Meade Stadium here on the campus of the University of Rhode Island. A less than ideal day for football, but it's been a pretty good game so far. Rhode Island leading over Southern Connecticut 13-10. We'll shift our focus right now from football to basketball. And we have a very special guest with me right now, the new head basketball coach of the University of Rhode Island, Tom Penderson. We welcome you to Rhode Island. Not the best day today, but it was your first day. You had an inter-squad game, and how did everything go?
We had a nice inter-squad turnout, too. We had a lot of people show up this morning, and with this weather and the early morning workout, I was really pleased to have as many people as we had there, and the crowd really got into it. We've been practicing now for 3 weeks, and we're anxious to get at some other people besides ourselves because, as you might know or guess, a pecking order develops within the squad. You get guys picking on each other every day, and they're really getting a little bit anxious to play somebody else at this point.
Tom, what initially attracted you to come to Rhode Island?
Well, I was born and raised in Connecticut. I played at the University of Connecticut, and I guess our biggest rivalry in my college days was with the University of Rhode Island, and I'm very familiar with the state and the university. My mother was born in Westerly, Rhode Island. We have many friends and relatives up here. As a matter of fact, I've been vacationing up in Rhode Island for just about all of my life, and most recently spending 2 or 3 weeks of summer up here. So I in a sense feel like I'm coming home. I've been in New York for 13 years now, and it's another rebuilding challenge, something that I guess I've developed a
quite reputation for that, right?
But it does play a little havoc with your overall one-loss record as a career. But I really love it here. I feel like I'm reborn. I think I've just gained about 10 years being back here.
You've been very successful where you've gone. It's taken time, of course, most recently at Fordham. What type of style will a Tom Pender's team play?
Well, the style I like to play, and the style that I played as a collegiate player, is a fast-breaking style of play, pressure defense, depending on the talent we have. This year, I think we have a team that should be able to run an excellent fast break. We've got a great point guard in Carlton Owens. We're not as strong as I'd like to be off the backboards, but hopefully we can hide that with some pressure tactics defensively and using a running game. But that's the style I like to play. But I also like to win, and I've had teams at Fordham and in Columbia that really didn't have much speed, and we still always rely on defense. Defense will be eventually here the thing that we're known for. Pressure, man-to-man. If we zone at all, it'll be a pressure zone. We don't believe in letting anybody run their offense the way they want to run it.
You talked about Silky Owens, a real exciting point guard. Who are the other individuals you'll be relying on?
I should also point out that I think that Silk has shown tremendous improvement. He's been excellent in practice. A lot of people said that, he wasn't a great practice player, but he's been putting out 100%. He seems to be developing into a real leader. Our backcourt seems to be our strength right now. With Silk in the backcourt, we have Tommy Garrick, fine local player who I just love. He plays 100% every day. He's a great practice player, good defensive player, enthusiastic kid. Jimmy Christian, who transferred from Boston University, should see a lot of time in the backcourt. He can play either the point or second guard. And Will Alston, 6'1" sophomore out of Paterson, New Jersey, gives us 4 deep in the backcourt. Up front, I'd say Bonzi Colson should play an awful lot at the center position, backed up by Chris Scotti. Chris is at least 6'9", pretty strong kid, and hopefully he can give us some good minutes. At the forward spot, a lot of question marks right now because of injury with Kenny Green. He's been in and out of practice. He's just put together 3 straight days of practice. He played this morning about 25 minutes, and he seems to be getting over his injury. The other forward spot, John Evans right now has been impressive offensively, has a ways to go defensively, but very few guys can fill the lane on the break the way he does. He was the Atlantic 10 Rookie of the Year last year. I think John is going to see a lot of action. Freshman who has impressed me tremendously is Andre Green. He goes about 6'8". He's on the thin side, but he's got good, powerful legs on him. Runs the floor very well, has a knack for scoring, and is very coachable. He's picked up some of the things that I thought were going to be tough for him to learn, but he's a very coachable young man.
Okay, again, you had the inter-squad game today. Anyone stand out in your mind?
Well, there's a guy named Dennis Tabas who I think day in, day out has been very consistent. And Dennis had a pretty good game today. We're encouraging our players to take the shots that are theirs when they're there, and Dennis has really improved, particularly on his footwork, to help him get his shot off. I like Dennis's all-around play today. He seems to be over the bug of getting in foul trouble. He's playing much more intelligently on defense, and he's 6'8", 230 pounds. He's a big, strong kid. So, you know, we've got the makings of a pretty exciting club, but because we've lost 6 years in a row here, we've got to beat the losing syndrome and be positive. I've always been a positive coach. I don't get down on my players. We try to get the most out of what we have, and I'm really looking forward to the season.
We know there's been a tremendous proliferation of televised college basketball. Most conferences have some sort of television package, and as we know, the Atlantic 10 hasn't. But this year, most of the teams in the conference, or at least some of the teams in the conference, are going to get some television exposure, which is nice.
The conference is going to really take off, in my opinion. I was at a media press day down in the Meadowlands a couple of days ago. ESPN, USA Network, Madison Square Garden Network, CBS were all there in force, and because we put 3 teams in the NCAAs last year, everybody is watching the Atlantic 10 now. There are only 9 conferences in the country out of close to 30 that put 3 teams into the NCAA, and I think now that the exposure is going to come our way, and it's going to help. A lot of people were saying, well, why are we in the Atlantic 10? Is it good for Rhode Island? Well, no conference is good for you if you're at the bottom of the conference. If we can work our way into the upper echelons of the conference, I think the Atlantic 10 is going to be a great conference for Rhode Island and Rhode Island's fans.
It's a little early to tell, but who do you see as the strong teams? Again, is it going to be Temple and St. Joe's and the usual powers?
Yeah, on paper, Temple looks pretty strong. They have 4 starters back, and you know, John Chaney's an excellent coach, and I can't see things sliding too much there. St. Joe's will be a good club. I think they're going to miss Maurice Martin an awful lot, though. He was their money man down the stretch.
Playing for Denver right now, I believe.
Yeah, you know, he was a great player. West Virginia still seems very strong. I think after that, you've got a lot of teams, maybe 2 or 3 that are favored for the first division, like Duquesne, Penn State, GW. Whether we're that far behind them, I don't know until we play. But if we're the 10th best team in this conference, it's a damn good conference. I'm happy, though, that we're rated at the bottom at preseason, because motivationally it's good for us.
Well, we do know the University of Rhode Island is going to play an exciting brand of fast break basketball. And Tom Penders, we welcome you again to Rhode Island, and we hope you have a successful season. We'll be seeing you for a few games along the way, so we hope again that the University of Rhode Island basketball team gets back to the heights that they once were at.
It's just a matter of time. Hopefully this year we can turn the corner, but it won't be long before the winning is back and the crowd is back and the interest is back.
All right, we're at halftime here at Meade Stadium. Rhode Island leading Southern Connecticut 13-10. We'll be back with more halftime festivities in just a moment.
In tradition.
I declare the 100th commencement ceremonies of the University of Rhode Island officially open.
Always the pursuit of excellence.
Facilities that we're dedicating today mean that our students will go into the marketplace with the latest high technology skills.
The University of Rhode Island. Great for a lot of reasons.
For my students, my grad students, they ought to be pushing me as hard as they can, and they do. That's fun. I like that.
URI is great for a lot of reasons. Zoology professor Dr. Stan Cobb is one of them.
Teaching, doing research, it's a wonderful combination. No, I wouldn't trade it for anything. I really wouldn't. You're in the lecture room, or you're in a small classroom, you're in a laboratory, talking to people, showing them what you know how to do best. Why do I teach? I teach because I enjoy it.
Setting the pace in higher education. The University of Rhode Island.
We are at halftime here at Meade Stadium on the campus of the University of Rhode Island, and a strange occurrence is happening right now. Rhode Island is actually leading at halftime. I don't mean to really be sarcastic and slight them, but it's been a rough year. Huh? 13-10 is the score.
And you've been a perfect host for them all year long.
Yes, I have. Well, I've been telling it like it is, I guess. Now let's take a look at the first score, Mal. And this is, I believe, Greg Farland to Brian Mitchell.
Okay, this was a real nice strong play. You'll see Farland sets up, looks to his right, and then just fires down the middle of the field and gets hit. As I said, the ball is perfectly thrown into Mitchell's hands over the out-extending hand of the defender, who I could not make out his number. It was a great play, real strong effort by the University of Rhode Island. That's something that they can build on in the hopefully in the upcoming second half.
We don't have any statistics as of yet, but it seems to be, I don't think they've had as successful a half of throwing the football all season long as they've had this year, which is surprising considering the elements and whatnot.
They're doing remarkably well. They're really holding on to the ball. The pass patterns are crisp and sharp. As I said, they would have to take a little bit more care in running those patterns. But as I indicated early in the season, early in the interview, is that the field conditions were so perfect all year long that the field has a great capability of drainage for one particular game. After this game, you can't give this field too much merit for it, but with the season that we've had so far, the grass is real strong and they're able to keep their footing. Second half may get a little more sloshy.
Let's get our crystal ball out and visualize maybe what's going to happen, let's say next season for the University of Rhode Island football team. Is it a given that they're going to switch offenses and maybe go with the two-back offense with talented players like Haynes and Poirier, but still there's going to be that quarterback controversy with Galani and Farland?
Well, I've done a lot of studying and a lot of analysis of the University of Rhode Island team and players this year. I've had to do my homework as they've played every game. And I've remembered when I played ball that Coach Griffin was a dynamic character, and I don't think he's going to be a stick in the mud. He's going to stay with something that's not going to be effective. He doesn't have the personnel to implement the program that he had with the standouts that he had before. And here, look, we can look at the monitor here, and we got two lonely fans just sitting there and braving the weather. But back to what I was saying, I think next year is going to be a big year. I think you need a bad year. I mean, it's tough to say because there are young athletes that are striving and trying to make the best of their final year or their senior years. But this was a real growing and trying experience for the University of Rhode Island, and I think they've learned an awful lot, and they've built a lot of courage, and they've got a lot of character behind them. And that's where teams begin to have winning traditions, is that you have an off year, and then you develop some talent, and you develop some type of pride, and you go out and you build upon that pride. And they have done that this year. Next year, I think Griffin will go with the two-back offense. He will like to stick with the pass because it's the most prolific, and it certainly is very explosive and exciting. And Bob Griffin's always been an advocate of exciting football. Even when he first came in here, he did some strange things, but it really got people up off their arms.
And he built his program.
And he built the program up.
Right.
And so you have to give the guy credit, and I don't think he's going to just lay back and say, I'm a passing team, I'm a Don Coryell, and I pass. He's going to diversify, and I think he's got the talent, he's got the Poiriers, and he's got the Haynes. I'm really impressed with both the capabilities of them, the young backs that they are. They've handled the adversity well, they've weathered it well, they've got good running capabilities. And I think next year you're going to see a pretty good, sound URI football team.
Excuse me, go ahead.
And I'm hoping that this game will be a victory for them, as I am an advocate of the University of Rhode Island. I'm a local fan here myself. But in the next couple of games, I think they'll build on this and for their confidence, and they may go into the next couple of games with a victory or two.
Well, you've been involved in losing seasons before, so that cliche about maybe losing Bill's character, you feel like it's true?
Sure. I think when I was at BU and Rick Taylor first came in our first year, we went 3-7. We probably were the best conditioned team in the country. We could have beaten any team in a 2-mile road race, but we didn't have the character necessary. So we lost that first year. We went 3-7, and we had a dismal season. But the following year, we came back and had a 7-3, and then we had an 8-1-1. And it was that adversity that brought the cohesiveness together to say, we're going to rely on our coach, we're going to believe in our coach, and we're going to work together, and we're going to train in the off season. And that's what happened to BU, and that's what happened to URI in the past couple of years. URI really has a good quality person in Bob Griffin, and I really respect the man for what he's done here, and the athletes have got to respect him, and they enjoy coming to this school. When they get recruited by Bob Griffin, he doesn't pull any punches. He tells you how it's going to be right from the beginning, and you perform for him because you respect him. And the kids are going to come back next year, and they're going to have a stellar season once again.
Proof of that is the fact that the piece that you did in the pregame show today, the fact that despite the dismal record and despite the obvious adversity, The attitude has remained good and positive, and the players have continued to perform. And except for the continued misfortune that seems to plague them, they could have very easily beaten a New Hampshire club that is good enough at this point in the season to be in a four-way tie for first place on top of the league standings. In fact, they had UMass down as well. So, in addition to crediting them, I can't help as we take a look at the field. That's the sideline area, not the field itself, but the sideline. So you have some indication of what the field is like, how the conditions have deteriorated, and what both teams are going to be faced with in the second half. The advantage
life on Mars.
The advantage appears to favor Southern Connecticut because they are a running offense, but the fact of the matter is we've seen in the first two quarters, the URI quarterbacks continue to be able to air it out.
Nothing goes by the book this season. It's just
not at all. Both teams have been able to do what they've done all year long. The running team of the Southern Connecticut has been able to run, and the passing offense of University of Rhode Island has been able to get on track. So let's look for another second half with the same type of quality ball.
And then we can all head for the medical center. They'll be giving out lots of aspirin tonight to the student body that's in attendance here today, because they have certainly put up with the elements for about 2 hours so far, with about 2 yet to go. In fact, I would think that the seniors, to show their appreciation, ought to have a block party for some of the fans that came out and braved the elements. This is about as bad as I've seen for watching a college football game. Captains now for both teams will be brought to the center of the field as you take a look at the 50-yard line. The referee working this one today, Joe Arnone, is at center field, and we will see now which team will receive and which will kick in the second half. In the opening period of play, the Owls elected to receive, and they had it the first time around, so it appears the Rams will have that advantage should they elect to go and receive for the third quarter, or perhaps elect to win because it has been a factor. The captains for Southern Connecticut, as you see, number 9 is their outstanding defensive corner, Rick Atkinson, who came in with 11 career interceptions. He's already added to that total this afternoon with a fine effort. And number 66 for Southern Connecticut is Anthony Corvino, an offensive guard. And the tri-captains for the Rams, 171 and 87. One is the corner Ray Williams, 71 is offensive tackle Ed Kuyava, and 87 is defensive tackle Phil Mulcahy, who have all performed admirably at moments here today. The Southern Connecticut team directly beneath us is on the field. We await the appearance of the Rams, and then we will be set for third quarter play-by-play. So stay tuned. It is a 13-10 football game. The Rams lead it with 30 minutes yet to go, and we're back in just a minute.
Jeep Cherokee has just been reborn. It can now be ordered with a 4-liter, 6-cylinder, 173-horsepower engine. Nothing in Cherokee's class even comes close. In fact, with this engine and a choice of 2 or 4 doors and 2 shift-on-the-fly 4-wheel drive systems, you could say nothing's in Cherokee's class.
The Renault Jeep Performer at your Rhode Island AMC Jeep Renault dealers.
Welcome back to Meade Stadium in Kingston, Rhode Island. The Rams now have made their appearance onto the football field. Second half of today's game brought to you in part by Courtesy RV. We grow on customer satisfaction. By your Rhode Island AMC dealers. And by Citizens Bank. Southern Connecticut will kick. Number 20 for them, Darren D. DeFlorio. Loose football, Haynes has it. Rams will own it 1st and 10 from their 27.
Covered by number 95.
Now, Doug's had trouble holding on to the football during the dry games, and he lost his footing again. Luckily for Rhode Island, he came up and held on to the football, so that would have been a huge break for Southern Connecticut here, as we're just at the outset of the third quarter of play. Rhode Island leading by 3.
Paul Galani is the quarterback. His club leads by 3. Off a quick drop. Picked off! Touchdown, Connecticut! Flags are down on the play, however.
Defensive lineman's dream. That was number 57, Glenn Magyar.
Magyar, a 6'6" 260-pound senior. I don't know why he threw the ball. There was no blue shirt in the vicinity.
Looked like he tried to lob it over his outstretched arms. Actually threw it right into his hands. That's the dream of every defensive lineman, to get an interception and score a touchdown. Let's see what the penalty is. A clip against Southern Connecticut. Take a look at it, Malcolm.
Galani looked a little bit lost when he first got into the play. He threw the ball, and it was just picked off very, very easily. There was nobody in the immediate vicinity, and Magyar was able to just carry it in and follow the wave of blockers ahead of him. But when he first took the snap from center, he looked like, where's the play action? He just looked left, looked right, and there was nobody there. And that may have thrown him off a little bit, but it was an ill-advised pass.
Wade, the quarterback. The back in motion is Kimbrough. The give to 41, that's Clancy. Big break for the Rams, despite the misfortune as a result of the poorly thrown ball by Galani.
Right, the ball's deep in their territory, but still they avert 6 points and still hold their 3-point lead.
Pickup of 2, 2nd and 8. Wade under pressure and is put down as a result of a nice defensive effort by Bill Brown, who got his hand on the ankle of Wade and upset him just enough that he could not retain his footing. So a loss on the play back to the 41-yard line of the Rams, a loss of about 6.
Brown is a Rogers High product, and he's a former running back, so he has great quickness and speed, great foot quickness. You saw his mobility there as he chased down Wade for the loss. That's a big defensive play.
3rd and 16. Football is in the air, and it's complete on the far side, inside the 30-yard line. Shy, however, of the first down. That football in the air was probably about 30 yards, but it was, of course, not vertical, but horizontal, and as a result, they will be shy of the first down. A nice reception on the far side of the field as they pick up what they lost. That's 6 plus about 7, and it will be a 4th and 3 as we take a look once again at Darren DeFlorio, who has an opportunity at this moment to tie the game.
And he banged one in from just about that distance in the first half.
DeFlorio will attempt a 44-yard field goal.
44-yarder.
Not this time.
It is short. This time he was kicking into the wind, and the distance, or rather the difference from his last boot, was obvious. So as a result, critical penalty following the turnover. The poorly thrown ball by Galani cost Southern Connecticut the lead. That's the kind of break that for the most part this year has gone against the Rams. That brought the football all the way back to the 35. The Owls could not move it in. The Rams take over 1st and 10.
The kid's got quite a strong leg. No wind again. That one's good.
But he got underneath it a little bit, and that's why it didn't go as far as it should have, or it needed to.
Quarterback is Farland. That's Poyer, who has shown us a lot here this afternoon in the running department. Outside the 30 to the 31-yard line.
Seems like on every series now they're switching quarterbacks. Galani and Farland coming in and out.
Like I said to you earlier, I don't know if that's a good thing, but with a freshman, you can't really rattle his confidence too much because he is a freshman, and Farland's been a seasoned veteran for this particular year. So you can do that and try to get, whoever scores or whoever does well, builds on their confidence because they both are here next year.
It's worked well. Rams lead it by 3. Farland off the right side. Big hole! Poyer down the sideline, out of bounds, inside the 40 at the 37-yard line. A 32-yard run, driven out of bounds on the far side of the field by Matt McLeese. Excellent run by Chris Poyer, the 5'10", 180-pound freshman, redshirt out of Narragansett.
A great display of speed here. He takes the ball inside, off tackle, and then just skirts to the outside, and then uses his speed to outrun almost everyone. Excellent speed. This is a very talented little back. He's done very, very well. Good speed, good play.
It looked as though everybody else was in slow motion as he moved down the sideline. It really did. 1st and 10 for the Rams. 13 minutes remaining, third quarter. Poyer again wrestled to the turf inside the 35-yard line to the 32. And up off the bottom of the pile, number 81 for Southern Connecticut, Mike Roberts and Scott Mercero.
Field getting very muddy. You did a game last year, Mike, at the University of Massachusetts against Rhode Island. Field conditions very similar.
That was an electrical storm, so that was certainly a frightening occurrence. In fact, at one point, they delayed the game. Poyer, loose ball. Fallen on for the Rams by Bob Palermo, the offensive center. Palermo recovers and picks up the first down and then some. So once again, fortune seems to be favoring the Rams here this afternoon.
It's about time after 8 games of utter frustration. Poyer again slipping tackles. He's doing a great job. They look like they've got him in his grasp. Coughs up the football, and there's a very alert number 56, center Bob Palermo. Very good play there. Big break for Rhode Island.
And he is the, third string center, so.
Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the university, our athletic department, and the football program, we wish to offer our most sincere thanks for your interest and support this season, your attendance at our home games, and continued backing of the program.
Public address announcer thanking their fans for their support. I would say there has never been a more appropriate occasion than this afternoon. The rain, if anything, and we've continued to talk about it, it's worse now than it was in the second quarter. It's coming down in sheets at the moment.
And not raining straight, which means it's coming right in our faces.
The Owls over in front of their bench. A brief timeout. 11:52 remaining third quarter. Rams lead it 13-10. The Owls came in a very good Division II school at 5-2. Wide receiver to the bottom of the screen is Bobby Donfield. Pratt to the top. The single running back remains Poyer. Farland to throw. High and deep. And that was the pass we saw a lot of for the past 2 years, where the receiver at the last moment is just able to outsprint the secondary. He did on that occasion, but Pratt was just unable to hold on. Nice throw.
Favorite combination of Earhart and Damian Riley last year.
That a lot.
Saw that an awful lot.
89. I still see that one in my sleep.
What's your wife say about that?
Second down and 10 for the Rams from the 23.
Just under 12 minutes. 2nd and 10 from the 22. Poyer. Some confusion there as he tried to get around the block of Pratt. Pratt could not move the defender any which way, and as a result, Poyer is dragged down after a pickup, however, of about 3 on the play.
Rhode Island attempts a field goal. Excuse me. Go on, Mike.
Donfield to the bottom of the screen. 11-11 remaining in the third quarter. 3rd and 7 from the 19. Rams lead it by 3, 13-10. Over the middle. Oh! And the receiver really stung on the play, drilled by a couple of defenders. I could not tell. From that side, it looked like it was Pratt crossing from the top of the screen, but we will wait to see. Yes, it is. That's Jimmy Pratt.
That's one of the more dangerous pass patterns to run, of course, across the field. Take a look now.
He's not afraid to get off the ground and go for the ball, but he just gets upended and he lands right on his face. I believe it was by either number 48 or number 9 who...
Pat Morrison, number 48, was the man who leveled him, 6'3", 181-pound senior. Pratt remains down on the field. I believe more than anything he was winded. It appeared that he took either a shoulder pad or a helmet right around the midsection.
It looks a little bit more serious than that. I mean, when you just have your wind knocked out of you, you can come up pretty quickly. Well, here he is now, but he's probably
in the rib area.
He may have got a bruised rib or something, or, I mean, I'm not going to speculate or anything, but he's certainly shaken up a little bit, and he'll come back out of it in a couple of seconds here, but that's quite a blow when you take a shot like that.
That is one pass pattern that can
end a career.
End a career. That's exactly right. We help as Pratt gets some assistance and moves to the sideline, and we see Steve Potasic, another very good receiver out of East Providence, Rhode Island. We saw him catch a touchdown throw from Galani. That was one of the two throws that resulted in Galani getting the start at New Hampshire. That fine.
Pratt seemed to be walking out under his own power, Mike, so let's hope it was just the wind knocked out.
And hopefully he'll be back.
Yeah, he seemed to be okay.
Potasic now is the wide receiver to the top of your screen. Just 5'7", but a very solid 180-pounder. Downfield to the bottom of the screen. Once again, the quarterback is Farland. Big hole, right side, into the end zone. Touchdown, Rhode Island. The touchdown run for the University of Rhode Island by Chris Poyer, the 5'10", 186-pound freshman running back out of Narragansett, Rhode Island, had come into the game picking up 255 yards on the ground, had yet to score a touchdown on the ground. That's his first.
This is the same play that they had earlier success. You see the blocking inside caved everyone in, enabled Poirier with good speed to get outside and dive into the end zone. Shades of Sam the Bam Cunningham into the end zone over there. Nice run, good play. Throws URI up 19-10 right now, going for the extra point.
Extra point attempt with the wind at his back. Griffin looks awfully impressive. That kick is perfect as the teams come back up the field. With 10 minutes, 56 seconds remaining in the third quarter, the score. The University of Rhode Island 20 and Southern Connecticut 10.
I get a special feeling from my custom van from Courtesy RV Center. Everywhere I go, heads turn.
Meet this year's starting lineup of recreation vehicles from Courtesy, including these champions of the road: Monitor Motorhomes, Fifth Wheels, and Trailers, Micro Minis and Minis by Damon Industries, plus a team of winners from Wilderness and Fan.
Plus, I can fill it with the things I really like.
Oh, Lydia.
Over there. It's not raining.
You're in trouble.
Southern Connecticut, the visitors here today on Senior Appreciation Day at Kingston. Appropriately, the Rams having the better of it. They lead 20-10. Should they win this game, it will break an 8-game, actually a 9-game losing streak going back to the playoff loss to Furman 1 year ago.
Hey, Mike, how do you think about Mike Griffin's foot feels in this mud and kicking a cold football?
And they don't have those little heaters on the sideline either, don't they? Like the pros.
That's Atkinson at his 10. Head down, out close to the 30-yard line. So the Owls will take over, 1st and 10 from that point, trailing by 10. They, in fact, had the lead in this game by 7 points as a result of an 18-yard touchdown run at the outset by running back Bill Clancy. But since that point, the Rams have had much the better of it, and they certainly have capitalized on numerous breaks here today.
And it's something they haven't been afforded all season long. They haven't had any breaks.
They've gotten them in bunches here today.
Maybe they'll have to move to the rain belt.
Through the center of the line, stacked up by a host of blue jerseys.
The tackle by Hewlett.
Ball carry up off the bottom of the pile for Southern Connecticut is number 2, Riccio. Paul Riccio, a 5'11", 185-pound senior from Branford, Connecticut. Pickup of 1, 2nd and 9. Off play action. Pass is low. The coverage on the play by Ray Williams. 3 or 4 blue shirts in the vicinity. The intended receiver was the split end Greg McDaniel. The pass incomplete 3rd and 9. Southern Connecticut on the day, third down conversions, they are 1 of 7. This will be their 8th attempt.
Haven't been successful passing the ball. I don't have the stats on Wade's passing attempts and completions. Don't remember too many.
Well, first half stats I have in front of me. So the first half stats for Southern Connecticut, 1 of 7 for 17 yards.
Yeah. He's having a tough time gripping the football, it looks like, and you can't really blame him.
Well, that's one of the bad things about a game in the inclement weather such as this, is that you can't really get a true feel for who's playing and the quality of the game. You know, you may have a team that's excellent and they just don't get on track in the rain.
The other problem I would think for a quarterback, even if he can fight the elements and grip the football and throw a good ball, is that you learn the timing on dry turf and you get out there and you don't know what the footing's like for that particular receiver on that play, and all he has to be off is half a step. Poor snap, very nearly a block. Nice show there by the punter on the play. That was Paris Smith. They do not go or throw the flag for roughing the kicker, so the Rams will take over with great field position again inside Owl territory at the 49.
That was number 46, Bill Brown again, showing his great quickness getting in. That was a terrible snap. Smith, fortunate for him, picked it up and got that punt away. So Rhode Island in terrific field position right now.
They were operating in the poorest part of the field, however. We take a look back in the vicinity of the 30-yard line, and that has to be the area that's been chewed up the worst. Quarterback again, Greg Farland. Pratt is back in the game, I believe, at a wide receiver spot. Off the left side, big hole! Down the sideline, that's Doug Haynes. Touchdown, Rhode Island. Doug Haynes, a 5'11", 172-pound sophomore out of West Warwick, puts a notch on his belt, his 3rd rushing touchdown of the season. That's the 2nd rushing touchdown of the day. Chris Poyer with 1 moments ago. And Haynes with the touchdown run, 49 yards.
Boy, that off-tackle play has never worked so well, has it?
Well, they seem to go to the well, and it seems to work. It's a simple pitch out inside. Haynes with good speed, excellent blocking by the tight end, enable him to just run to the outside, down the sideline for a touchdown. This is what happens when Division I AA plays Division II. The size difference changes, and things start to open up a little bit for the 1AA team.
There's the placement, the barefoot kick. Perfect again as the teams come back up the field with 9:50 to play in the 3rd quarter. The University of Rhode Island ups their lead to 17. It is URI 27 and Southern Connecticut 10.
Morning.
Just the two of us. We can make it if we try. Just the two of us. Just the two of us. Building castles in the sky. Just the two of us.
Thank you.
You and I.
Night now. Bye-bye. Good thank you. You and citizens, every step of the way.
And you've got 7 people right there.
As we take a look at Mike Griffin getting ready to tee up the football. May have a slight chill in his right foot, but I would think that the score tends to deaden the pain somewhat. His club up by 17. For the first time this season, it appears that the Rams may be on their way to their first victory. Deep to receive for Southern Connecticut. Number 24 is Randy Campbell, along with Rick Atkinson. Campbell to the top of your screen and Atkinson to the near side. Just under 10 minutes to play in the 3rd quarter. Still a long way to go in the elements. Not the best. Atkinson with a high jump over
Shades of Joe Kep.
4 or 5 people on the ground as the blockers did their job in standing up the would-be tacklers. Atkinson tried to go over the pile, perhaps picked up a yard as a result. It looked like the goal line leap. 1st and 10 for the Owls at the 30.
Obviously, Southern Connecticut would like to get a quick score. Their offense, though, they grind it out a little bit. They're going to chew up some time. They don't want to do that at this point.
Running back off the left side, it appeared to be Riccio, number 2. Got maybe 3 on the play. That's Riccio, and up off the bottom of the pile, 69, the nose tackle is Gilman. 58 is the linebacker Hewlett.
Sure, the players on the University of Rhode Island side feeling good about having a 17-point lead, but again, not taking anything for granted. They had a 24-7 lead over New Hampshire, a much better team. Granted, but still.
Off the left side, that's Clancy.
Clancy, the ball carrier.
And Clancy picks up about 4. It will be a 3rd down short yardage call. They need to get to the 40 for the first down. They mark the football at the 39. It will be a 3rd and 1. Clancy in the first half, 10 rushing attempts for 65 yards, so he came in averaging 6.3. He upped it today with an average through the first 2 quarters of 6.5. Rushing yardage for Southern Connecticut in the first half, substantial at 147. The Rams with 30. They have upped that figure considerably here in the 3rd quarter of play. They lead by 17. Clancy head down over the 40. He appears to have had the first down. The Owls with their 2nd 3rd down conversion of the entire football game, and it comes with 8:28 remaining in the 3rd quarter.
Clancy has shown what a good, consistent fullback he is. He's not let the weather affect his play at all. It comes into the game, as Mike mentioned, averaging 6.3 yards per carry, and he keeps that average. In fact, improves upon it. So he's a good-looking ball player.
Riccio, the wing back to the right. The back in motion, 23, is Kimbrough. Kimbrough has the football. All kinds of traffic. He tried to cut back, lost the ball. However, I believe he was in the grasp and down. Phil Mulcahy gets credit for the stop. No gain on the play, 2nd and 10.
Hogan assisting on the tackle. There's a loss of about 1 on the play, 2nd down.
Well, if you like traditional football, 3 yards in a cloud of dust, that's what you're getting when you take a look at the Owls here, played on, of course, the natural surface, and with the rain, and it's been hard all day long. Obviously, most of those white shirts all but obliterated. Pitch back, loose ball. The quarterback, Wade, is able to recover. The pitch back to Clancy, it bounced right off his shoulder pad, but right back in the direction of Wade. A fortunate break for the Owls as they lose 2 on the play, but retain possession of the football.
He's having a devil of a time holding on to that football. I don't know, that theory about the ball getting smaller, is that true?
I'm telling you.
You still got to catch it,
Right.
small or large, and that was
right.
a pitch.
So, and now it starts getting cold. Like I said, your hands get a little cold, you get a little numb. You drop the ball a little bit more often also.
Have you ever had an opportunity to play in conditions like this during your career? I'm sure you did.
We've played in many games like this. At BU, we had AstroTurf, of course, which makes it a little cleaner, but nonetheless, the drainage isn't as great as a natural turf surface. So we had games where we had maybe an inch or an inch and a half of water, standing water on the field. So when you hit, you slid for an extra 25 yards.
Timeout on the field. We'll take a timeout and be right back.
Tired of going into debt for a night on the town? Come on out to the Queen of Clubs at Lincoln Greyhound Park. Sensational food at a price that makes going out fun again. And just wait till you see the floor show. 12 exciting races with all the action you could ever want. Lincoln Greyhound Park, the exciting alternative.
Seven minutes remaining in the 3rd quarter of play. The Rams lead it 27-10. The Owls own the football. It is, however, 3rd and a bunch. They own the football at their own 37. They need to get to the Ram 49. They need 14. Wade with a big hole up the middle, head down, met by 3 blue shirts at the 45-yard line. Mulcahy and Happy, 2 of the 3.
Happy and Smith assisting on the tackle. Flag on the play.
4th and 5, but a flag back at the 32-yard line.
Holding against Southern Connecticut.
Holding against Southern Connecticut. Rams elect to decline the penalty, so once again we will see Parrish Smith. And in twin coverage for the Rams, number 21 to the far side is Poyer, 24 to the near side is Pratt. Poyer just having a marvelous afternoon, as well. Pratt, until he got hurt, had looked well, and Doug Haynes, the two running backs for the Rams, with a couple of great performances. Big pressure. Coaching staff for Southern Connecticut thought there should have been a rushing the kicker, but the referee yelled in a clear voice for us to hear he got a piece of the ball, and that makes the kicker fair game. So as a result, a poor punt. The Rams will take over pretty good field position at their own 30-yard line.
But Bill Brown is putting a tremendous amount of pressure on Smith 2 times now. The past 2 punts, as a matter of fact. He's almost blocked it.
Well, Rookie failed to realize sometimes there's a weak link, and you just try to go for it all the time. And if a guy's going to let you take that inside step, or if he's going to be overpowered so easily, you still go for it.
Rams from their own 30. Farland drops the throw, airs it out, long and deep, once again in the direction of Pratt. And that football in the air, 45 yards from the point at which he threw it, in a deluge. And I mean to tell you, that was a perfect ball from the standpoint of a hard-thrown spiral, a bit beyond the intended receiver, but if Pratt could have had a step, it was a good pass. I'm just amazed that a quarterback, as I say, in these kinds of conditions can throw a football that well. Donfield and Pratt remain the wide receivers. 2nd and 10 for Farland. The football in his own territory at the 30. Rams with a 17-point cushion. The pass underneath to Mitchell stopped at the 35-yard line. He got 5, however, and it will be a 3rd and 5 call now, facing Bob Griffin and the Rams.
By number 40, Henley.
You know, Mike, I can say right here, if URI wins this game, this is a victory for URI, and not the individual athletes, but a victory for the team as a whole. You've got both quarterbacks playing in there, and they're both scoring touchdowns.
Both have contributed, no question about that. Poyer to the short side of the field, not enough room to run, cannot turn the corner. Nice work defensively on the far side of the field by 85 Mike Young.
You know, granted,
loss on the play, it'll be a 4th down punting situation. Go ahead, Rich.
Granted that this has been successful, rotating the quarterbacks. This is not something, though, I would think you would want to do from week to week. I'm sure down the line the decision is going to have to be made one way or the other, not only for this season, but next season as well.
Well, you may have something like Brown where you'll change one of the quarterbacks into a receiver, as you did with Kerrion Bigby and Donovan.
Takes a ram bounce. The receiver elected to let it roll inside the 10 to the 5-yard line. That's a 45, 55, 62-yard punt, a heck of a punt, and we'll be back. The Owls take over in just a minute.
Watch closely. You're looking at America's 2 leading premium beers. Because Miller High Life comes in a clear bottle, you probably think it's the lighter of the 2. But life is full of surprises. You see, Miller High Life is brewed darker from this special and expensive roasted malt. Pour them for yourself. See the difference roasted malt can make. Then compare the taste, and you just might find out what a beer made the American way is all about. Miller High Life.
Off the left side, the running play for the Owls. The Rams with an excellent field position now, even though they're on defense. If they can hold, the Owls will be faced with a situation where they're forced to kick right into the teeth of a pretty strong wind. Pick up on the play of about a yard, 2nd and 9. Ball carrier on that play for Southern Connecticut was Clancy, as he tried to burrow his way out and could not get much. Clancy, the back, right behind the quarterback, Dennis Wade, 2nd and 9. That time he gets ahead of steam up and gets out close to the 10-yard line. He needs to get to the 15. It'll be a 3rd and 5. Once again, you got to credit a heck of a punt there for the Rams. A 62-yard punt with a great roll that put the Owls with their backs to their own goal line.
Mike, you do what you do in practice. And this afternoon I was looking over the field, and the punter was kicking the ball, and he had some nice trajectory. He was really booming the ball, and I had said to one of the cameramen, he's really kicking the ball. And he didn't do it in games before. Today he did it in games.
3rd and 5. Clancy close to the first down. He needed to get to the 15, and let's see what happens when they unpile.
Mike, some Yankee Conference scores. Delaware leads Connecticut 28-7, third quarter. And also in the third, it's Maine 13 and UNH 7.
That's a surprise.
Upset. New Hampshire's pretty lucky. They could have dropped one easily to Rhode Island.
Massachusetts playing a non-conference game today. New Hampshire, of course, with a win, they are one of the co-leaders, one of the 4 leaders in the conference. And that would put, well, New Hampshire, of course, would fall a game off if they continue to trail. Delaware would move on top.
Right. A couple other scores. Nationally, Penn State 7 and Maryland nothing. Boston College 38. And I didn't hear who they were. Temple 21. Was that the score?
I think so. What was the score of Penn State again?
7-0 over Maryland.
In what quarter?
I didn't hear the quarter.
Boston College has certainly unraveled their offense. They struggled early, but they certainly have opened it up here in the past 2 or 3 games.
In contention for a bowl berth somewhere.
They still remain a popular team since the graduation of Doug Flutie. Owls fail on the third down conversion. Line drive kick should give Pratt an opportunity for a return from the 47-yard line. 32-yard punt. And a return of about 12 yards on the play. So the Rams alone at 1st and 10. The Owls now, with that failure to convert on third downs, just 2 of 11 in third down conversions. And that's about as good a stat as any to take a look at in terms of trying to understand what's happened here this afternoon. 3:27 remaining in what has been one of the longest third quarters we can remember. 27-10 is the score. The Rams lead it by 17. They own the football in pretty good field position. However, there's a penalty being walked off against the Rams. That will hurt.
My coach, like being the equipment manager, having to wash these uniforms after this game.
I believe I'd send the cleaning out.
If they can get the uniforms off their bodies.
Holding from the point of infraction, and that takes the football back to the Ram 44-yard line. They would have had it at the 32, so that's a loss of 24 yards as a result of the penalty. So the Rams take it over. As they point out to the gentleman on the sticks that they're going the wrong way. They had put the yard to gain marker, the 10 yards to gain from the Ram 44 to the Ram 34, and the referee alertly, Joe Arnone, took a look. Now they're going in the right direction. Farland had some problems, picked up the ball. He's got Pratt, far sideline, was able to put on the brakes and move down the sideline. There's a case where Farland had problems with the snap. The ball was probably wet. He was still able to recover and get the pass out to Pratt, who moves inside Owl territory to the 40 for yet another URI first down.
I believe Pratt had his disc brake shoes on because he stopped on the dime and cut upfield. But the sidelines aren't that worn, so he still has good footing. 20
first downs for the Rams in the contest unofficially. From the 40-yard line, Greg Farland with a 17-point lead. Farland got drilled. I was following Farland. It looked like play action. However, it had already been handed off to Haynes, who went off the left side and picked up about 4. As Farland goes over to converse with his head coach, Bob Griffin, and wide receiver, Jimmy Pratt. It will be 2nd and 6. The football is at the 35-yard line. We have 2:58 remaining in the third quarter, and the Rams with a 27-10 lead. Donfield to the near sideline, and his shirt remains remarkably unmarked. Pratt to the top. Off the left side, head down. Nice effort by Haynes. Inside the 30. Needs to get to the 28 for the first, and he just about has that.
URI has shown that they can be a little diversified offensively. They've been very effective throwing the football and also have been quite effective running as well. So, again, you wanted them to wean themselves off a passing attack, and they've done that quite well today.
Timeout asked for as they bring the chains out to Mark. Look for the first down. So with that timeout, we'll be back with more URI football in just a minute.
Tomorrow's another day. Read all about it in the Providence Journal Bulletin.
Football complete to Muse on the far side of the field. The first down for the Rams easily that time, as they were just shy as a result of the measurement. But that time the pass from Farland to Muse, and Muse picks up the first down at the 18-yard line. The Rams will have it 18 yards away from 6 points, which would add to their total of 27.
Wind's starting to pick up a
Off play action. Running back is Muse has the football inside the 10 to the 5-yard line. Haynes was drilled in the backfield. However, the quarterback took it out of his belly and rolled and threw a strike to Jimmy Muse, and Muse moves inside the 5-yard line where it is 1st and goal, Rams.
Well, there's a case of what play action is supposed to do for you. It's supposed to freeze up people, let the people that are employing the fake really carry through with it and allow the defense to hold, because they don't know if you got the ball or not. Allowing Farland to stand tall, find an open receiver. Good play and a great reception by Muse.
Muse, a 6'3", 203-pound junior out of Melrose, Mass., having a great afternoon here today. Inside the left side, 6 points, touchdown, Doug Haynes. Doug Haynes with his second rushing touchdown of the afternoon, and remarkably for the Rams, you'd have to look in the record book for this one, their third rushing touchdown of the afternoon as they move out on top 33-10.
And Richie Simone just did a split there. Good strong play, drives right up the middle. They only need a yard and a half, and they got that and another touchdown. Doug Haynes, good strong running inside.
Credit some fine blocking. 59 was Bob Lenhart, and 70 Jerry McCargo. Those were the people who gave the blocks to allow Haynes into the end zone. Extra point attempt is good as the teams come back up the field with 1 minute 33 seconds to play in the third quarter. The Rams lead the Owls of Southern Connecticut 34-10. We'll keep it right here.
They've got a 24-point lead. Do you feel comfortable yet? I don't know. After being 0-8, I doubt it.
And Joe, if you can get a shot, they're doing push-ups in the end zone right now to total the University of Rhode Island score of 34. They lead at 34-10. As we take a look at the Rams huddling back now at their own 30-yard line on the far end of the field behind the two deep backs for the Owls. 34 push-ups plus a couple.
Well, last year I remember seeing some of the players, and one guy went from having 13.5-inch arms to 18-inch arms by doing all the push-ups that Earhart was able to put on the scoreboard.
That's true. Probably beat a weight program. Griffin. Line drive kick to the near sideline. Atkinson fields it at his 10. To the 20. To the 30. And brought down outside, or just about at the 30-yard line, defending for the University of Rhode Island. Steve Studley, number 34, on the stop, I believe, along with Chris Santapietro.
An 18-yard return by Atkinson, 1st and 10 for the Owls from the 29.
Throw that thing away.
Wade with twin receivers set to the right. Give off the left side is Riccio. 87, Mulcahy.
Riccio, the ball carrier. Tripped up by Santapietro.
Santapietro gets credit on the stop as well. It will be a 2nd and 7 now, pickup of 3.
Rhode Island putting in some of the second unit defensive players now. Although Ray Williams still in there, one of the first string guys.
Well, he's a senior. You want to
Yes,
give
right.
him all the time he can and bask in his glory for this last day as a collegian and home field.
Give off the left side, that time to Clancy. Damon Hewlett, number 58.
You know, these are the type of days, Mike, that you try to go through and you hope no one gets injured, and you recoup and you go back for a dry game the following week. And these are the games that you can get a simple sprain and it can hurt you for a couple of weeks. So
I'm sure the Rams could care if there was 8 feet of snow out there today. They'd come out and play this one for the win despite the elements. As you say, it hasn't been the best. I'm sure they would love to have seen 8,000 or 10,000 people here today. That's not the case. You'd have to be a brave soul to sit through 3.5 hours in these kinds of conditions.
simple flask of brandy and you're all set.
3rd and 6 now for the Owls. They are 2 of 12 in third down conversions as we now move to the 18-second mark in the third quarter. And I wish that we had a clock on the total time for the third quarter of play. It's amazing that it's gone this long when you consider that certainly in the case of Southern Connecticut, they like to run the football, so clock doesn't, you wouldn't think would have had stopped.
Well, I bet you it only
That
took
often.
15 minutes to run the third quarter, Mike.
At least.
At least, huh?
Per play. Here we go, 3rd and 5. Wade looks to throw, near sideline, pumps, throws, passes, complete but dropped. Happy defending on the play. The intended receiver was Riccio, and he would have had the first down. They needed to get to the 40. He was at the 41.
It's like to play in the mud when you guys were young.
Certainly, all the time.
Wait until it rained and stomp through it.
Sure.
Now that we're grown up.
Fun to play football on a warm day in the mud.
Unfortunately, the weather isn't that cold. I mean, it could be miserable at this juncture of the year.
Line drive kick fielded by Pratt at his own 40, out of bounds at the 49-yard line. Pratt slides all the way up to the bench area. That's a great shot. That one could make a highlight film, too, as he had to go through about 9 feet of mud.
You remember
On the
against
end line to the bench.
Massachusetts last year, he scored the touchdown sloshing through there. That was about the worst field conditions I had seen in a long time. In the pros, the worst field always was, I think, Municipal Stadium in Cleveland would always get very muddy.
Polo grounds for the Giants.
Well before my time,
Wrigley
I'm afraid
Field
there,
for the Bears.
Gramps. Well before my time.
Well, I grew up in Chicago, and of course that's the black and blue division. And in my youth, all of the fields, of course, were natural turf. You had Green Bay, Detroit, Chicago.
And Green Bay would just be
Minnesota.
frozen, though, right? In Minnesota, they'd be just frozen.
Tundra.
Right. The frozen tundra.
After the game, you
Timeout
see
asked for 1st and 10. The Rams will own it from their own 49 with 5 seconds remaining third quarter. Back in a minute.
There's something new on the road. It's built by Jeep. It's the kind of truck only Jeep could build, but it's also the kind of truck just about anybody can afford. The new short bed Jeep Comanche Sport Truck. It's worth a look.
The Renault Jeep Performers at your Rhode Island AMC Jeep Renault dealers.
Hoyer on the first down run out of bounds directly in front of the Owl bench.
That ends the third quarter of play, Mike.
3 quarters completed here at Meade Stadium in Kingston, Rhode Island. Mike Lyons with Rich D. Simone and Mal Nigerian with a crew, as I said, a Rollins Sports production crew in the numbers about 18 here today, and most of them will go home and start taking their cold pills and their cough medicine. 34-10 at the end of 3, and we're back with fourth quarter action in just a minute.
Hi, I'm Mota Tutupu of the New England Patriots. If you're thinking of buying or renting an RV, see what Courtesy RV has to offer.
You picked a winner with Courtesy, ranked as a leader in southeastern New England for selection. Courtesy also offers full-service Rhode Island vehicle inspection, the right replacement parts, and a full line of accessories. Best of all, they treat customers the way their name implies.
Now that's courtesy.
Welcome back to Meade Stadium in Kingston, Rhode Island. As we check the stands on the far side of the field, the crowd never has numbered more than in the hundreds here this afternoon, but I don't think any of them have left. They have certainly braved it from start to finish. Those that have come out on the sunny days and watched this club lose, I'm sure they wanted to stick around and enjoy the best offensive performance, in fact, on both sides of the ball, the best performance in total for the Rams on the season. They certainly have to say that from the point standpoint at any rate, or at least the result. Poyer, the ball carrier, and didn't get much. One of the Rams slow to get up is number 77 for URI, and that is Levy.
Andy Levy, I believe.
Andy Levy, that's right, who has been injured. We take a look at that injured list. We never did get a chance to go through it today. These are the players that came in today not expected to play. Jeff Denny, an offensive guard. Jeff Jarrus, who is a defensive safety. Danny O'Brien, a linebacker. Greg Benjamin, a defensive tackle. John Carbone, a strong safety. Tim Rishton, a linebacker. Earl Smith, a cornerback. Jeff Barlow, a nose guard. And Corey Stagnito, a free safety. That's a lot of bodies. Under pressure, and he is drilled. Farland is wrapped up way back at his 40-yard line. That's a loss of 14 yards on the play. And the man to get him
looks like number 90, Mike.
Number 90.
99, excuse me.
Scott
And that's
Mercer.
Scott Mercer, rather. He's played pretty well today.
Mercer has played very well. A 6'3", 270-pound senior who came in with 42 tackles and 6 sacks. He just picked up his 7th.
A little tough to tell who's doing what at this point.
Fair catch at the 30-yard line, and everything is dangerous at this point. A fair catch becomes difficult. Difficult under the best of conditions, but certainly critical with the wind and the rain. Owls own it 1st and 10, trailing by now 24 points. This one just about in the bag. It's academic from this point. I'm sure we're going to see lots of new faces. In the final 13 minutes of play.
Well, this is one of the tough things, Mike, is when you've got a lopsided score like this, but URI needs to build their confidence, but they can't keep the first string in there, so.
Some confusion in the backfield, and Wade is hit and dropped back on his 26-yard line. The man to get him, number 29 for Rhode Island, is Santa Pietro, a defensive end. Chris gets him for a loss of 2. It's a 2nd and 12. Pass is complete at the 35-yard line. The man to haul it in for Southern Connecticut, number 19, that's Greg McDaniel, the split end, and defending on the play for Rhode Island, Aaron Smith.
Well, as we mentioned earlier, a lot of the seniors still in there for Rhode Island. I see number 1 still out there, and that's, of course, is Ray Williams, and number 87, Phil Mulcahy. Again, playing their final home game. They want to play it out, and to get a victory in their first of the season, of course, is great for them.
3rd and 5. Owls 2 of 13, make that 2 of 14 in third down conversions as Wade lost his footing. Santa Pietro, along with Happy, defending on the play. So once again, we will see the punter, Paris Smith. He certainly had a workout today. We've been fortunate. The wind has not been on our direction all day, and now it starts to blow right in on the broadcast booth. That's about all that's left to have happened in the course of this one in terms of deteriorating conditions. Smith will boot from his 15-yard line. Pratt retreats to his 25. That was a 45-yard punt from the line of scrimmage, probably 55 or so from where he kicked the ball. So an excellent punt. The return, however, out to the 35. The Rams will take over from that point.
Must be the smaller ball.
There's something I wanted to bring up, and this doesn't have anything to do with the game, though. This kid from Holy Cross, Gordy Lockbaum, the kid who's playing both ways, has gotten a lot of notoriety. I don't know if you're familiar with him or not, but is that something that will happen, maybe? Kids see someone like him and will want to play both ways. I know it's a coach's decision, but, of course, that was the thing in the old days, in the 40s and maybe
It was
50s.
mandatory.
Right.
And nowadays, and unfortunately, in the high school levels, you don't have that many kids coming out for the football teams anymore, and that's pretty discouraging for me to be a big football player and a fan myself. But they're not having big turnouts. The coaches aren't doing their jobs, I don't think. And, of course, the athletic budgets are being cut, so you can't really get a lot of quality players to get out there. They have other interests. But
And there are a lot more options. The growth of youth soccer, for example, is a big one from my neck of the woods. That didn't exist 5, 10, 15 years ago. Soccer may have not made it in this country vis-a-vis the North American Soccer League, but at the youth level, the injuries are not as profound, and certainly the outlay for equipment isn't as great. You get the young man or young girl a pair of shorts and a soccer ball, and you're covered.
Certainly parents must feel like their kids have a better chance of getting hurt playing football than they do soccer, which I'm sure enters into their mind.
Galani's pass in the direction of Ray Studley, that pass well shy of the mark as Galani shakes his arm. I don't know whether he had some problems unleashing that one or not, but the result, an incompleted pass, and it's now a 3rd and 9 for the Rams.
probably just cold and stiff, like we're going to feel on the way home. But you got to give credit to the referees today. It's getting a little cold out there, and they haven't got any rain gear. They don't have any rain gear on this afternoon. And they're braving it and running up and down the field, and they've had a few tackles themselves.
Galani, the quick drop, the pass complete, nice reception outside the 40 to the 42-yard line. A strike right in the numerals. The reception for the University of Rhode Island, number 81, is Steve Schwab. Football, however, well shy of the first down by about 3 yards. 4th down, out comes the punter, Tom Centauri. And he had an excellent one moment. He had a 62-yarder this afternoon.
Kind of looked like pudding on the sideline.
Single coverage for Southern Connecticut. 24 is Randy Campbell. Fake punt and a first down. I looked back to pick up Campbell, and as I did so, Centauri with the fake punt down the sideline, watched the marker, went out of bounds. And this is one, if you're the coach of the other team, trailing by 24 points, despite the fact that Griffin is a Southern Connecticut alum. I'm not sure that sits real well.
It's surprising. You wouldn't think Bob Griffin is not the type of guy
Not at
who
all.
will run up a score. That's just not in his makeup.
Well, it could have been just a thing that the punter decided on his own.
Right, it might have been his
Well,
decision
everybody
alone.
just turned and ran around, and he said, well, I only need to get 4 yards.
Galani. And we take a look at Dave Morrill in the backfield. This is the young man who was a regular 1 year ago.
Fumble and
Morrill never had the ball. He never had the ball. We'll take another look, I hope, on replay, but Morrill, I don't believe, ever had the football.
Tough conditions is just let a person go in there and say, here, carry the ball on a rain-soaked afternoon such as it is. But nonetheless, it happened. There's a fumble, and University of Southern Connecticut has the ball.
Wait off play action. He's got a receiver. The entire play action went to the near side of the field. We've got a late flag as there's some pushing and shoving, and the referee comes over and indicates he does not like what he saw. The infraction appears by the reaction of the URI defense to be going against the Owls of Southern Connecticut. That play might have worked. The problem, of course, the playing conditions. Quarterback had to reverse himself in the mud, and then hit a receiver who was trying to run in it.
He threw off his back foot, it looked like. It was like quicksand. He kind of just sunk right in there as he was backing up.
Joe Arnone. The walk-off against the Owls, a 15-yarder. It will be certainly a personal foul or unsportsmanlike conduct. We'll wait the indication by the referee. Personal foul. 6 penalties for 65 yards against the Owls. This one, of course,
Well, they're averaging over 100 yards a game, I believe.
In what?
Penalties.
And penalties, that's right. They've had 7 games and they've had 793 yards of penalties.
As a result, it's 2nd and 39. Wade unloads. The pass is picked off. Picked off for URI by Granatelli down the sideline at the 40. At the 30, out of bounds at the 25-yard line. Paul Granatelli, and the weather has not dampened the enthusiasm of the Rams. Take a look at Paul Granatelli.
That's what you call a floating ball.
Yeah, he just threw that ball up in the air. I can't believe he threw it, but again, he's not a passer, and he is only a freshman. Throws the ball up for grabs. A great interception by Granatelli. And I saw from this viewpoint, if he had good footing, he could have perhaps gone all the way, but everybody converged with the angle, cutting down the angle of pursuit there. But he did make the interception 30-yard line, but the penalty was a hold, I believe.
Appears to be against Rhode Island. The defensive unit is back out on the field.
And the driving rains are continuing to come down here at Meade Stadium this afternoon. This is an interesting series of events. It's cold.
Personal foul. A hold. Rather a hold, not a
automatic
personal
first
foul.
down for
It's a
Southern
hold, an
Connecticut.
automatic first down.
All we can say up here is keep that clock rolling.
49-yard line. 10:06 to play. 34-10 the score. Back in motion is Riccio. Give is to Clancy. Clancy stacked up just inside Ram territory at the 48-yard line. For the University of Rhode Island, number 54 involved in the play is Meyerson, getting some playing time. We haven't seen him much at all this season. He gets the stop. Lots of new faces in there defensively for URI.
Still, you see Ray Williams and Mulcahy still out there. They're going to finish this one off. They want to know what it's like to go out a winner at home.
Once again, Riccio in motion. And the give to Kimbrough. And he got perhaps another 2. Once again, it'll be the 3rd down long yardage call. And Wade might be expected once again to be forced to go to the air.
That's a tough break, of course, for Southern Connecticut because, as Mal mentioned, this kid's just a freshman, and he's not attempted a lot of passes during the season, and it's terrible conditions out there as is, and he's not gripping onto that small ball.
Came in 21 of 50, about a 40% completion rate, but this is a club that only averages 86 yards through the air. They make their living on the ground. Pass picked off by Happy. Or 39, I'm sorry, that's not Happy, number 38. It's Kurt Brockwell with the interception. Kurt Brockwell picks off the pass in the 3rd down 5 situation, and the Rams will take over, and we have an injured Ram down on the field.
Number 29, Mike.
29 for URI is Santa Pietro.
All right, there's the pass, and it's thrown right into the hands of Brockwell, number 39. Bobbled it 2-3 times, picked it up. And he's brought down there by a very muddy player in a muddy jersey.
Lafayette, 14. Fourth quarter.
I don't know if I just heard a score right. If Brown was losing to Colgate, I'm not sure if I heard that right. I don't know if you gentlemen heard it or not.
That game is being played at Brown this afternoon.
It's in Providence.
The conditions are the same there as they are here.
I doubt the sun's shining. That's correct. Chris Santapietro remains on the field, and it appears that it is an injured left knee, and that's certainly unfortunate. We will be back, check on the condition of Chris, and resume play here with 8:37 remaining in the contest. The Rams lead Southern Connecticut. It appears they'll pick up their first win of the season here this afternoon. The score 34-10.
Tired of going into debt for a night on the town? Come on out to the Queen of Clubs at Lincoln Greyhound Park. Sensational food at a price that makes going out fun again. And just wait till you see the floor show. 12 exciting races with all the action you could ever want. Lincoln Greyhound Park, the exciting alternative.
Welcome back to Meade Stadium in Kingston, Rhode Island. If you happen to be joining us along the Rollins Sports Network this afternoon, that's the right place to be.
Home.
Home.
That's my microphone is soaking wet.
Quarterback is Galani. Rams with 27 first downs here this afternoon. Loose ball. The Owls have it. It bounced right out of the hands of Galani, and it was quickly picked off by number 91, I believe, for Southern Connecticut, Mark Buckley.
Was it the gentleman that recovered another earlier fumble, Mr. Buckley? That's not William F., is it? Someone threw a piece of paper in front of the camera.
There it is.
Here it is.
There
A snap just comes up into his chest, and Buckley's just able to receive it right in the air. If he caught that in the air, he could have advanced it, but of course he was on the ground.
Wade has some room to run. Out of bounds.
I don't know, Mal. If this kid gets a little more confident in his passing, he certainly has all the athletic ability to be a pretty darn good quarterback.
Well, he's got good foot quickness, and he sets up very, very well. Now, he looks kind of small for a quarterback. I don't have the statistics on his
5'10".
He looks smaller than that. I don't know why. Maybe it's perhaps my perception from the field, and again, everything's being muted because of the mud and everything. But the idea is the kid is a good little athlete, and I think if he can throw the ball, we can't see today. I mean, there's no indication if a person can throw or not. But again, they do go with the wing tee, so they're not going to pass an awful lot next year either.
Here we see the halfback option, the pass behind the intended receiver, and if he would have been able to grip the ball, that play would have worked. The receiver was open. However, the back who was trying to throw it, I believe it was Glenn Kimbrough, could not get a handle on it to throw the ball. As a result, an incompleted forward pass, and we have a flag down as well, and it appears to be against the Rams.
That was a well-designed play, and that terrible cliche, he was in the seam of the zone, I guess, as they say.
I thought we weren't allowed to use
we don't
cliches
use
in
those
this year.
cliches. We try not to.
We were told at the beginning of the year that we can't use cliches. Right. Speaking of the person that told us that we couldn't use too many cliches, he's probably having a great time basking in the sun down in sunny Florida with his wife.
Well, I don't know what a seam and a zone is, so I couldn't use it anyway.
We'll just say he was open down the field and let it go at that. As a result of the penalty, first and 10 for the Owls.
Unfortunately, URI has a good agriculture department because they're going to have to really do some serious work on this football field.
Once again, to give to Clancy off the right side. He's got maybe 3. We move close to the 8-minute mark now. The Rams with the big lead, 34-10.
Yeah, we were talking about football maybe declining a bit amongst the youth of America. I always wondered why a kid would want to play soccer. There's really no one to emulate. You know, there's no professional teams, and for most young kids, if you're a basketball player, you like to be Larry Bird. If you're a football player, maybe you like to be, I don't know, Tony Eason or somebody. But in soccer, there's no one really to emulate.
Here we go. Once again, it's Clancy.
We'll get to that brilliant
ahead.
point in a moment, so I'm sure someone will have a brilliant
Well, we'll have some mixed views on that. You know, you have guys like James A. Michener who wrote Sports in America, and there's another book that I had taken in my college studies, Psychology of Winning and Psychology of Sport. And you found that each individual doesn't necessarily need someone to emulate. They like to go out there and play and be competitive.
You mean there's actually a course on that?
Oh, sure.
Oh.
And you have peers that go out there and play soccer and have fun. They go out there and do it themselves.
End zone view of quarterback Dennis Wade and the back of 39, Kurt Brockwell. Once again, going for first down yardage. That's Clancy. It was a 3rd and 3. He needed to get to the 10-yard line, and he did. It is a first down for the Owls as they look to narrow the gap. They trail at this point by 24 points, 34-10. We are under 7 minutes. My observation with regard to your discussion is that at that age, it's 6, 7, and 8 years old, which is where they are telling those youngsters are putting them into the program. I don't think they're at a point where they're doing it because of trying to emulate anybody. It's just that their parents are getting them involved in a program where they can get out and run and play on a nice spring or fall day, and that's probably the extent of it, and that's certainly reason enough.
Get away from those video games.
Wade is wrapped up for a loss on the play in the backfield at the 12-yard line. Loss on the play as the Ram defense.
I'm glad I brought that up. That was, gentlemen, very astute.
Very
your
interesting point,
perceptions.
a very astute point. Here we have a fumble here. What we're seeing on the replay again. Wade picks up the ball. He's fortunate enough, and then he just gets his head butted and knocked right to the ground. It's like a ram butting heads with
battering ram,
and knocked him down
with an owl
on his fanny.
Second down and goal to go from the 11.
Second and goal. The football is at the 11-yard line. They mark it at the 11 now. Under 6 minutes to play, and we have a timeout asked for by Southern Connecticut. So with timeout on the field, 5:57 on the scoreboard clock from Meade Stadium in Kingston, Rhode Island. The Rams lead Southern Connecticut 34-10.
Ladies and gentlemen, basketball coming.
Does Miller High Life come in a clear bottle just to stand out from the crowd? Or is there more to it than that? You see, Miller High Life is brewed dark and rich from this special and expensive roasted malt. How dark and rich? Compare Miller to the other leading premium and see the difference for yourself. When you brew a beer with all the quality and care that goes into Miller High Life, you put it in a clear bottle for the world to see. Because that's the American way.
URI makes their way back onto the playing field. Owls own the football. They are faced with a second and goal.
Well, it was safe to say that Rhode Island was going to pick up their first victory, 5:57 to go.
Hey, Coach Griffin off the field.
Well, you owe me a coffee, Rich.
And that's good news. They've played well enough at times that they should have picked up a victory by this point. Good pressure on the quarterback. Wade's pass is well shy of the mark for the University of Rhode Island. The man to apply the pressure for URI is number 50, Peachely.
Well, you know, this is nice to see them winning because, and we're certainly not housemen, they're a good bunch of kids, frankly, and they deserve a victory. You know, they haven't cried over this, losing 8 games, and they've kept their composure throughout the season, and they've been very good about losing. How you can be good about it, I don't know. You know, I'm sure we've all been poor losers during our lifetime.
You are,
they've been great about it.
You have to live with it. You have to wake up in the morning and the sun still rises. Well, not on this day.
Pass is incomplete on the third down and goal situation. And once again, however, we have a flag down in the end zone, so we may have a pass interference call here.
Tessetta, the intended receiver.
Intended receiver was Tessetta, Joe Tessetta, the tight end. Pass interference against the Rams, so that will give the Owls an excellent opportunity here to finally push one across. They have not scored since the field goal, the 45-yard field goal in the second quarter of play that was kicked for Southern Connecticut by Darren DeFlorio.
Well, this is just a blatant pass interference. I mean, he was trying to stay away from, I believe, who's the DB was number 29 or 49, and his body was just in such contact with the person that there's nothing he could do. But there's no harm done. If they even score here, they're well out of the game.
Clancy straight ahead, and just about 15 players involved in that collision.
I don't know if he's hit 100 yards yet. I'm sure he has. He had, I believe, 69 going into the second half.
He assisted on the tackle.
I'd like to. I'm sure he's close. If not, he's already eclipsed 100 yards, but he's got to be pretty close. And he's got 3 more games to go, and that gives him almost 839 yards, I believe. So he's well on his way to getting that 1,000 yards, and I wish him well in that quest. It's always a nice lofty goal to obtain.
Something you've done a few times, I believe, or a couple of times.
2 times.
2 times, okay.
Second and goal, football inside the 1. Once again, Clancy, and no! Excellent job by the Ram defense as they brace at the goal line and stop Clancy, a young man who's averaged 6 yards per carry the last 2 attempts. He could not negotiate the final yard. Hard to credit anyone in that situation, as there were half a dozen or better blue shirts involved, and you can see the numbers there along the forward wall for URI. Lots of people not listed on the two deep getting a chance to play here. Quarterback looks to go in. He does. Dennis Wade into the end zone from a yard out, the 5'10", 180-pound freshman, with his first rushing touchdown of the year as he moves in and gives Southern Connecticut their 16th point of the game. They now trail 34-16, and we have 4:22 to play.
He's just gonna go right behind the center and bowl his way through there. Rhode Island trying to surge enough to stop him. Unfortunately, they weren't able to, and it's a harmless touchdown for Southern Connecticut, cutting it to 34-16 with an attempted point after touchdown coming up.
Tell me what a harmless touchdown is.
Well, the harmless touchdown is a touchdown that's scored with.
They're going for the two-point conversion. It is good. Rick Atkinson, the holder on the play, with the two-point conversion toss. The pass to Paul Riccio, and he dove and extended himself well to get the pass from Atkinson. It worked. Southern Connecticut trails by 16, 34-18.
A harmless two-point conversion as well.
.422 to play. URI 34, Southern Connecticut 18. We're back in a minute.
Tomorrow's another day. Read all about it in the Providence Journal Bulletin.
To receive Haynes and Poirier.
Haynes and Poirier deep to receive inside their 20-yard line and to kick for Southern Connecticut, as has been the case all day. DeFlorio, onside kick, fumbled. I believe the Rams have it. Indication on this side of the field is that they do. We'll wait and see. Up off the bottom of the pile, number 92. That's Brian Mitchell, was able to get his hands on the ball after the fumble. The onside kick nearly worked.
Donfield recovers the fumble at midfield.
They credit Donfield with the recovery. I thought it was Mitchell, but nevertheless,
it was a URI person.
That's all that counts.
Rhode Island has 2 games remaining. I know one of them is against Northeastern. They do have a league game as well.
Connecticut.
Against Connecticut, right.
That was the game of games.
What a great game last year, boy.
Trailing 42-21, I believe it was. They rallied to win it, 56-42.
Had a lot of fun. You had a lot of fun that day, calling numerous touchdowns, most of them through the air. That kid Pete Lane, the quarterback who was back at Connecticut this season.
Motion is the indication against the Rams, so they will pick up the 5-yard penalty and be faced with a 1st and 15. What was remarkable about that game, the University of Connecticut came in the big underdog. The Rams are going to march to their first unbeaten season in their in league play in the school's history. They scored 2 quick touchdowns to lead 14-0. Connecticut comes back with 5 straight scores to lead 35-14, and everybody thought it was over. They forgot, of course, about the Air Force, and what a remarkable second half. Probably the best half of football, certainly the best half I've ever called. I'm not sure it was the best I've ever seen.
What was the wildest game you were ever involved in at BU?
The wildest game I think that I was ever involved in was the Bucknell game, which allowed us the possibility of getting into the NCAA playoffs. What it was is if we had won the game, we would have automatically gotten a berth. If we had lost, we would have gone to committee. What happened is we tied, and the way the game was, it was 21-7, and we scored 2 touchdowns in the waning 2.5 minutes.
Wow.
And?
2nd and long, 2nd and 16 for the Rams. We'll get to that and in just a minute. Centauri getting a chance to operate at quarterback. He is the Ram punter, runs it out of bounds. If somebody would have given him a shoulder, he would have had an opportunity to join the list of players who are covered head to toe with mud today. He remains remarkably clean at this point.
3rd string quarterback, Centauri, kid from Johnston.
son of a man who, of course, is a legend in Rhode Island. His father, the coach for
Right.
many years at the high school level.
Tony Centauri, one of the best coaches in the state of Rhode Island. Again now, and what happened? Did you make it to the playoffs?
No,
or
unfortunately,
did you live happily
it was
ever
one of those
after?
years where the Yankee Conference wasn't highly regarded. This is just before you or I came into their own. And we had a gentleman who I am pretty distraught with, did not vote for us in the balloting, and we were unable to go. Lost a bid.
Centauri off play action, lost his footing, and you can see at the point in which he is trying to move, that's probably about as bad a piece of real estate as there is in the entire field, somewhere between the 35 and the 45-yard line in Ram territory. So it will be now a fourth down punting call. Centauri will remain in to punt as soon as he brushes himself off. Clock showing now 3 minutes remaining in the contest. 34-18 is the score.
Well, it was the last time out by either team. And there's only 2 minutes and 55 minutes remaining in this game. Everyone's going to go home and take a nice hot shower after the game. But University of Rhode Island seniors, we got a few moments to extol them a little bit. They've really gone through an awful lot of adversity, but they've had a lot of pride and pleasure of playing under Coach Griffin and at the University of Rhode Island. They do have a nice couple of championship rings to their merits. And again, let's go a quick rundown. We have Jeff Denny, Michael Griffin, Damon Hewlett, Ed Kuyava, Bob Linhart, Brian Mitchell, Phil Mulcahy, Dan O'Brien, John Priori, and Ray Williams. Those are people that will be sorely missed and will be remembered through the legacy of University of Rhode Island football.
They have had certainly remarkable careers. They move now to 29-18 on their careers. They came into the season at 28-10 with a couple of Yankee Conference titles and a couple of appearances in postseason play. The punt will give the Owls possession of the football in their own territory at the 25-yard line. Well, they will take over 1st and 10, trailing by a bunch, 16. And once again, remarkably, on the far side of the field, we ought to shoot tight, the fans. Remarkable performance by the fans here today. They're still here.
Right. Not many have left. True fans who stick with their team.
They're dead.
Yes, they're
frozen to their seats. 34-18 with 2:45 to play. Nice hole off the left side. Cuts back upfield outside the 40. Finally drilled at the 42-yard line. Ball carrier, I could not catch a number. We'll try and see
that was
if he gets
Riccio,
off.
Mike.
Riccio,
again.
number 2.
And we've neglected to mention him throughout the game because Rhode Island has been so dominant. But he's had a very good game.
Well, all the running backs have had a good game, but there was a name that was mentioned, Takada, tight end. He was mentioned but once, and that was in that end zone play, and that was it. And he has, I think, 8 receptions earlier in the season.
Just saw a quick look at the Hardy fans still in attendance here at Meade Stadium.
They deserve a game ball between them here today, no question about that. Nice tackle on the play for the University of Rhode Island, 44. Let's give some credit to some of the young people getting some an opportunity to play. Walmsley.
Just under 2 minutes to go here, and obviously the players have to be ecstatic at winning their first game. It was expected, but again, we've said it often, don't take anything for granted after losing 8 games, as dropped for a big loss there. Mark Buckley in on the hit.
As Mal pointed out, this is something that you hope to build on, certainly for this year, but for the young people. And there are a couple of people, you talk about the remarkable careers, there are a couple of tackles by the names of Sellinger and Kuyava are getting their first taste of victory in a Ram uniform. They transferred here from Drake.
I'm sure they didn't expect that transferring over, especially after looking at Rhode Island last year. I'm sure they knew they were losing Earhart and a few other guys. Speculating, I wonder what it would have been like to have Ryan Foster on the team this year. I don't know if it would
Well,
have
we've
meant a
talked
big
about
difference.
several of the players that they have missed as a result of either their decisions. Tony Hill,
Right.
whom they thought would come back, an All-American defensive safety, and we have seen indications both as a result of injury and a result, quite frankly, on occasion of poor performance, where the loss of Tony Hill proved to be substantial defensively for the Rams.
Well, if it's something they've missed, Phil Mulcahy mentioned this, of course, the guys have been hitting the hands of a lot by passes, as Chris Poirier deserves a game ball today for his play. And I'm sure you'd have to say maybe it's Greg Farland's one of his better performances of the season. Did not start the game, but came in on a shuttle basis, rotating with Galani, and did a good job.
As bad as the conditions are, they are not as bad as what you appear to be seeing on your screen. What's happened is, in the course of the afternoon, the lenses on some of the cameras are starting to fog up, and now it appears that the teams, at least on some of our shots, are playing in the fog. That's not the case.
Mike, let me tell you, it's that bad.
Getting bad, I'll tell you, it's
that
worse
bad
than
out
that.
here. This is crazy, but there's only 41 seconds to go.
Santori says, let's keep it going. He runs out of bounds. Let's see if we can't get one more camera shot. I think it's probably the most appropriate one today of Don Lewis, who is on top of a 30, I would say at least a 30-foot temporary device supporting him with a camera.
Maine leads Maine leads New Hampshire 14-13 right now in the fourth period, so big upset. Penn State just edged out Maryland nationally. Score there 17-15. Nittany Lions still undefeated.
Holy Cross beats Bucknell 17-10. Holy Cross remains unbeaten, but they will not go to the playoffs, remarkably, because this year they start the Colonial League, and league rules prohibit postseason play. Centauri remains on his feet, and finally, no white shirt in the area, he decides to sit down. 23 seconds, clock is moving, 34-18. That appears the way it will end up. I'm not sure that they will get another playoff. The clock continues to roll. They are not stopping it. They place the ball ready for play at about the 25-yard line. The Ram players on the far side of the field start to make their way across. The fans in the stands on their feet, not necessarily applauding, but the fact that they've remained this long stands as some great testament to their fortitude here today.
Good luck, seniors.
That's a week from Monday night. And Keely Gym. Tickets are on sale daily.
Take a look now as the two teams meet at center field. The last time we were here, unfortunately, in the waning moments, Richmond and the Rams, not with the same manner of sportsmanship at the end. Things got kind of out of hand. This is what you like to see, win or lose.
Right, it was a good game. It's too bad the weather conditions were like this, but it was a well-played game for Rhode Island. They kept their composure amongst the poor field conditions and moved the ball quite effectively. In fact, they moved the ball about as well as they have all season long.
My thanks to the sponsors who have participated in this game today. They include the Providence Journal-Bulletin, Lincoln Greyhound Park, Courtesy RV, your Rhode Island AMC dealers, Miller High Life, and Citizens Bank. We conclude our Rollins Sports Network College Football 86 coverage for this afternoon from Meade Stadium in Kingston, Rhode Island. For Mal Nigerian, Rich D. Simone, and our statistician Bobby Rainville, I'm Mike Lyons. Once again, the final score here at Meade Stadium, Rhode Island 34, Southern Connecticut 18. The Rams now with their first victory of the season, 1-8. Join us next week for yet another Saturday afternoon of college football. For this afternoon, have a great week, everybody.